Hi guys, welcome back to Chris Cowlin's channel. This is the live watch-along for the Tamworth versus Tottenham FA Cup third round tie. A potential banana skin, no less. Welcome, of course, to the channel for the watch-along. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. Do get involved. Get in the comments. Should be lots of time today to get some questions and answered sorted in the comments. Let me know what you think about Tottenham's season so far. This game in particular, of course, it's an artificial pitch. I've already mentioned the term banana skin. I mean, really, it's a no win for Spurs, even if they do win quite handsomely. I mean, Manchester City won what, 8 yesterday against Salford City. Even if Spurs were to win pretty handsomely, like 3, 4, or 5, still I think it's just what you expect rather than anything else. So it's a bit of a stressful one for Spurs and Tottenham fans. But before I get into the team news, please do give this video a like. Let's get this seen by as many Tottenham fans as possible. And the more likes we get, it gets into more people's suggested videos on YouTube. Also, do give Chris Cowlin's channel a subscribe if you're not already, at Chris Cowlin. And also, I'm getting near to 15,000 subscribers on my channel, where I bring you daily Tottenham Hotspur content and in the January transfer window, transfer rumours videos as well. That's on at Barnaby Slater _ on YouTube, but you can see there in the bottom left-hand corner. Give me a subscribe there. Also, throughout today's game, Chris is actually at the Lamb Ground in Tamworth, and he will be continuing to post content on his channel. If you've looked on his channel already today, you'll see that he posted both teams arriving, and he's posted a video of Spurs warming up. And he will continue to do that and posting the press conferences after the game later on. So keep across all of his content, of which there will be loads on his channel. And in fact, I'll give you the itinerary of today. I'll be doing the watch along, obviously letting you know what's happening in the first half, and then be getting into the comments at half time. Then the second half, and then I will do a instant post-match reaction video. And followed that on this same stream, I will be talking to Tottenham fans from around the world and be asking them their thoughts on the FA Cup result. Hopefully that'll be a win for Spurs by then. And then after that, at about 4 o'clock, Chris will be hosting the Spurs Chat podcast, and he'll be joined by Harry Scarf, Brian Daigle, and Adrian Tisato. And also, they will still be on when the FA Cup fourth round draw takes place at about 5 o'clock. So hopefully by the end of today, we'll have a comfortable win and a good draw in the next round of the Cup. Because let's face it, this season, it's all about the Cups for Tottenham. Can we do what many people forget Gerard Houllier did at Liverpool, where he won the League Cup, the FA Cup, and what was then the UEFA Cup, but now obviously the Europa League? Could Spurs do that? It seems very unlikely. The reality is we haven't got past even the FA Cup fifth round for a long time. We are in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, of course. We take a 1-0 lead to the second leg at Anfield for that. And we're in a decent position in the Europa League, about 9th in the league table, the top 8 getting straight through without needing a playoff. So, yeah, looking good in terms of the Cups at the moment. And I think that is where we need to kind of concentrate realistically. But let's get into the team news. We've got about 6 minutes till kickoff. So it's Kinski in goal for his second start for Tottenham Hotspur. Then Pedro Porro, Radu Dragusin, Archie Gray, and Sergio Reguilon gets an unlikely start for Spurs. Who thought he'd ever start another game? But good for Sergio. I'm pleased for him. Then Bissouma, Sarr, and Maddison in midfield. And then in the forward line, Moore, Werner, and Johnson. The bench is Brandon Austin, who seems now to have kind of superseded Fraser Forster as the second choice or third choice keeper overall. And then Sonny, Bergvall, Solanke, Deki, Kulusevski, Spence, Lancashire, Dorrington, and Oluseyi. The team for Tamworth: Singh, Crompton, Kulinani, Hollis, Mollett, McGlinchey, Tonks, who's the one we have to worry about, Morrison, Milne, Enoru, and Creaney. I'm just seeing on the TV now. So as I mentioned, it is, obviously this is a non-league club, so it's a very small little ground. There are people kind of watching from the gardens of their houses outside, similar to the game we had at Marine a few years ago. But this is an artificial kind of 3G or 4G AstroTurf pitch, which isn't great for the possibility of injuries, because managers at the top level always complain about how many more injuries you can get playing on artificial pitches. Oh, and they're just showing Daniel Levy is there under a corrugated iron roof. Good for him for turning out. But it's obviously a small ground. They're showing the tunnel now, which is, corrugated iron roofed, small little changing rooms. I think the Tamworth club, they've been saying this week about how there's just a little electric heater in the away changing room. So it won't be It won't be something that a lot of the Spurs players will have played in since their kind of academy days, I'd say. But in the academy days, they'll have played in these kind of places all the time. And it should allow us, Tottenham, to play our football. You'd think that Tamworth will sit pretty deep, but they do have this much talked about weapon of the long throw from, I think it's their player Tonks in midfield, who can basically throw it into the 6-yard box from anywhere within the Tottenham half. So they will be using that all the time. And I have to say, let me know what you think in the comments, but I'm surprised that Big Ange hasn't gone for Fraser Forster as a result. Obviously, Kinski gets his second start, and that will be good for us in terms of, his comfort on the ball and playing the ball out from the back, you would think. But in terms of coming for this long throw that's going to be coming arrowed in at him from all angles, you'd think kind of 6'5", 6'6" Fraser Forster would be the option for that. But he's obviously just going for, as Ange always does, what we can do going forward rather than worrying what will happen back. Who do you think? Let me know in the comments who you think will be playing as the false nine. Do you think it'll be Werner or Johnson? Because obviously we have quite a short kind of forward line. In fact, it's not the biggest team at all. In fact, that's probably why I think he's starting Dragishin, knowing that they've got that long throw and we will need someone who's going to be able to attack the throws and the set pieces. It seems unlikely to me there'll be much space in behind Tamworth at all. So playing, Johnson and Werner, who basically some of their best attributes are pace. I think they might have difficult games. Hopefully we can get Brennan Johnson in that little kind of inside right channel so he can get shots in towards the bottom left-hand corner. They're coming out of the tunnel onto the pitch now. Just going to turn the volume up, try and hear what the atmosphere is like there. I think James Maddison just trying to pick up his mascot there. Not quite sure what's going on. And then I was also intrigued that Porro got the start ahead of Jed Spence. I can only think that is because obviously Jed Spence is the only player we've got now who can really play left back. So they're going to need him desperately in the North London derby, which is on Wednesday night. So Porro starts on the right tonight, and Reguilon comes in on the left. Mikey Moore gets a start. Be good to see him play again. We haven't seen him start for a good couple of months since he got that illness. So that'll be exciting. I think Brennan Johnson does need a good game. If you listen to my watch along from the other night and that brilliant result at home to Liverpool, I was getting on Johnson's back a little bit just because, I don't always feel he works hard enough in terms of his recovery runs going backwards. He does look kind of spent in terms of fatigue. But, and you'll see Tamworth have been sponsored for the day by The Sun. I noticed so The Sun will have given them some money. That tends to happen in FA Cup third round ties, doesn't it? This is probably the biggest game in Tamworth's history, realistically. And as a result, Tottenham need to be professional. That is the reality. They need to be professional. They need to not take this for granted. It's been a difficult season for Spurs. Let's be professional, get this game sorted as early as possible. Kind of try and knock the stuffing out of Tamworth, really. They'll be on adrenaline and they'll have the crowd behind them. But if Spurs can get an early goal or two and not give them any hope, and that is what they really need to do as far as I'm concerned. Let's get into the comments, see what you guys are saying. Tarzan, thanks for writing in, says Kinski hasn't played for a few weeks apart from Liverpool, so needs as much game time as possible. Yeah, I get that. He also says, also depends how the individuals feel after Liverpool game, not just how many games played. Sean, I think, ultimate example of a kind of Spurs fan, probably for a long time, saying beat Liverpool, lose to Tamworth. You never know. Reese, thank you for writing in. Reese says he may go 4-2-3-1 with Johnson as the centre forward. Yeah, I was wondering if Johnson might play as a false nine, but then Werner on the right never really does that well, does he either? So Tarzan has also said Timo hat-trick. Well, when we played against Marine, didn't Carlos Vinicius kind of score pretty much his only goals for Spurs? Twan Vo says, how many goals will Timo score? Phil C says, hopefully Timo will do their backline for pace. Well, you'd think so, but like I said, I just don't imagine there'll be that much pace in behind them. So maybe in terms of just getting past the last man and trying to get across the box as Ange loves to. Phil C says, big up Barnaby. Thank you, mate. And that's pretty much it. Do get into the comments, guys. Liston Hines, thank you for your comments, says the worse team we play on paper, the worse I feel. Yeah, I mean, actually, that's a really good point, isn't it? Because we've played our best football this season against the better teams, that's for sure. And they're just doing the handshakes, and the manager's brought looks like his young child with him, who's getting high fives from all the Spurs players. The sponsor at one end is Bristol Street Motor Nation, and looks like Tamworth are going to play a 4-2-3-1 formation. I don't know. Listen, I love the FA Cup. I've been frustrated that we haven't got round through the past the fifth round in recent years. So for me, let's just get through this game and not be a laughing stock, which is what a lot of people, obviously this is live on ITV. They are desperate, as are other fans of other clubs, desperate for Spurs to slip up here somehow. And we've just got to show that we've got some confidence in our team from that great result against Liverpool. And we're not going to take it for granted. And but it's going to be, they'll play a deep block and we're going to have to find ways around and through them. So I'm looking for James Maddison to have a big game. I think Madders is the captain today, and he's in the huddle. He's giving them the chat. Madders will have played in a lot of grounds like this. He obviously came from the lower leagues when he was younger. Started at Coventry, didn't he? And they're concentrating a little bit on Kinski as well. And the whole back end behind Kinski is all Spurs fans. I'll probably be, I would have thought, on a tiny bit of a delay because I'm on ITVX. But it shouldn't be too much, hopefully. Compared to usual. But Tamworth, of course, I actually used to go out with a girl from Tamworth, most famous for its snow dome, I'd say. Tamworth Spurs are in their light blue kit, shooting from right to left as we look at it in the first half. In fact, the snow dome is right behind the stadium. I can see it. I've been to that snow dome once. The referee is actually wearing the same coloured top as the Tamworth keeper, and they're having a little chat. I wonder if that's what that's about. Probably should have thought about that, shouldn't they? Like I said, ITV and all the broadcasters, everybody at home who isn't a Spurs fan will be desperate for Spurs to slip up here. But hopefully we can do what we did at Marine and just use our superior quality to get around them. And also, Ange Postecoglou wouldn't allow any complacency, I think. And he's literally, Ange, just like two steps ahead, like two kind of paces ahead of the Tamworth crowd who are right on top of him and all like banging their fists, this young crowd on the... What's happening here now, then? They're waiting to kick off here, but James Maddison is now running off the pitch for some reason. What is going on here? Oh, the net behind one of the goals has not been fitted properly and is falling down. Oh, dearie me. I mean, this is as non-league as it gets. This is classically non-league. They're not able to kick off because the net is not properly attached to the crossbar. Reese has said in the comments, I can't repeat the chants overheard on the pitch side microphone being aimed at Spurs manager Ange Postecoglou. They concern his weight, his nationality, and doubts about his parentage. That's a quote from the BBC website. Phil C says Mikey Moore could also play Force 9 role. Yeah, good point, actually. That could be interesting. Do get into the comments, guys. Like I said before as well, give this video a like. We've got 1,000 of you watching at the moment. Really appreciate your support. Press like if you haven't already, guys. Let's get this like by as many Spurs fans as possible and get this seen. They're just showing like almost like an overhead shot of the crossbar, which, the net isn't properly attached to it fully. And also the crossbar is quite moldy from above. Not something you see in the Premier League either. I have to say, this is like classically FA Cup and budget, that they cannot get the game started because of the net. Really, really classic. But this is what the FA Cup is all about. And actually, in a weird way, this may dampen down the atmosphere a little bit as the Tamworth fans don't have anything to chant about at the moment. And they're just going close up now on the Tamworth manager, who I believe, oh my God, the goalkeeper is being asked to put tape around the net onto the crossbar. And is loving it. He's giving it the old bit of this to all the fans as they chant about him. The goalkeeper is now taping up the net. I mean, give him a step ladder because he can't even reach. Deary me. Yeah, Tarzan says Ange's probably... he says Ange's likely to turn on the crowd if they're being disrespectful, though he's probably loving it. I think he's probably loving it at the moment. If Tamworth were to go ahead, I don't think he would be loving it quite so much. Ernest Medina says, hi from Australia. Thanks, Ernest. Thank you for writing in. Yeah, Tarzan says, the net not right. Memories of park football. It is such park football, and they can't even get anyone who's tall enough to wrap some tape around the net. It's so easy to do that. You just... here we go. Now they've got a Tamworth player on the shoulders of another player. This is so classic. Honestly, I cannot believe this against a Premier League team. So they've taped it. But of course, if a goal gets scored in that goal, then the tape will probably come off and they'll have to do this again. Deary me. Absolutely brilliantly budget. Surely somebody has one job, which is pretty much just to do the net. And they've got it wrong. But surely now the game can start. Really classic. This will be being watched around the world. And an excellent advert for the FA Cup, I think, what you can say. "5 minutes delayed." Okay, and Madders kicks us off. And Reguilon gets it early to Archie Gray, and Reguilon then pressed. Tamworth coming with a big press, and Archie Gray gets it down the line and was fouled at the same time. And Tamworth get an early foot in midfield, actually. Oh, and tell you what, and the left forward, he's running at the box here for Tamworth. And they're in the box. Oh, and Kinski has had to tip it over the bar. Wow. The forward just kind of drives at the left-hand side. Dragoshin can't get there. And it was going into the near top corner. Couldn't take any risk on it. And here comes the first corner. Yeah, it's going in. And of course, because it's a 3G pitch, the goal, as Kinski made the save, he kind of hit the post with his back, and the goal kind of moved a little bit. Anyway, they're going to put a big in-swinger in. Oh, and they're trying the old Arsenal set piece here. Here it comes. It's deep and long. Oh, I'll tell you what, they get the first header on it, and then Sarr clears. Tamworth win the header, but then it comes forward towards Werner. Tarzan says, "I'm on a 20-second delay. I'll take that. 20 seconds is all right." First shot on target from Tamworth. Anyway, Porro with the throw into Madders. He goes back to Madders, back to Porro, and then back to Madders. And Madders goes down the line now, looking towards Werner. But the ball is cleared out of the ground. Classic. Big crossfield ball there from Spurs. It's a good one. Finds Mikey Moore on the left, and he's one-on-one. He gives it down the line to Reguilon, who got outside him. He tries the cross, and that's a corner to Spurs. Good stuff from Tottenham there, getting a good switch on. And good to see Mikey Moore back out on the pitch. Just did it easy there, finding Reguilon down the line. He got to the byline, tries the cross. Sliding all over the place on the AstroTurf. And it's Madders. He's going to take this corner. Goes to take it short, but then decides not to. Spurs don't score from a lot of attacking set pieces. Here it comes, the in-swinger. Puts it right on the keeper, who takes it easily and then goes for the early kick. It's a good one into the channel, actually. It's Anoru, who was the one who had the first-minute shot. And actually, that was well defended, and it should be a Spurs throw, but it's not. Reguilon thought it should be. I have to say about Sergio Reguilon, his hairline is very quickly receding these days. Madders tested out the keeper with that first corner, and the keeper dealt with it really well. But now is the first long throw of the game, known as the catapult, apparently, according to the commentator. So this will be the first test for Kinski. 3rd minute. Here it comes. And he's gone with massive height on it. Cleared by Spurs. And Maddison gets the second clearance on it. And Werner's kind of on his toes and doesn't even look at the ball as the defender clears it easily down the line. And that's what's going to happen, actually. Tamworth will try and appeal for every throw-in within Tottenham's half because they know that they've got the weapon that they can use. Oh, a terrible ball from Porro, I think, there. And Tamworth have it in central midfield. Oh, and they're coming forward now, but Spurs managed to get foot on it. Problem with Astro pitches is the ball just bounces so high off the ground. It's weird. But Maddison does well in midfield there. But Werner again turns his back on the ball. What a weird little player he is. Brennan Johnson gets hold of it in central midfield and goes back to Dragoshin, who comes across to Archie Gray. Turns on it and goes straight back across to Dragoshin again, who goes to Pedro Porro, who's pressed. Dragoshin seems more tempted to go for some kind of exciting paradise ball through the lines, but in the end he does. He goes one over the top, which is just seems stupid really with Werner, but it does break to Werner eventually. And then he plays a horrible ball trying to find Mikey Moore. Werner is so bad. Deary me. Oh, and Tamworth, look at that. They've gone with a big diag and they had 2 men out on the left and now they're attacking us down the left-hand side. Here it comes. Big chance for a cross here. And he gets high on it. And actually offside. So Spurs dealt with the offside pretty well. First 5 minutes, Tamworth have started well. Tamworth, of course, have already beaten league opposition in this run. They beat Huddersfield, I think, in the first round with a goal that was, I think, given as an own goal from the Huddersfield keeper because it came from the long throw and he just punched it into his own net. Archie Gray now bringing it out. Goes back to Kinski, who rolls his foot on it and gives it to Dragoshin. Goes to Pedro Porro, who's pressed. And Sarr gives it inside and it bobbles everywhere off this pitch. You'd think if you had an Astro pitch that you'd get one that doesn't bobble everywhere. But anyway, Maddison finds Mikey Moore, who goes back to Maddison. Moore tries to give him another pass, but no. Comes into central midfield with Sarr and then back to Gray and back to Bissouma. And Tottenham just putting their foot on the ball a little bit here. Seems to me like as Maddison finds Werner and back, Maddison goes for a ball over the top towards Sarr, who'd made a good run, I think. Yeah. Sarr goes back to Reguilon. Yeah, it seems to me like Tamworth are not pressing the first ball off the centre halves too much, but more like the second ball. Anyway, Spurs get it out wide right to Brennan Johnson, who tries to put a cross in, just fires it straight off the pitch. I think he just Johnson tried to put some pace on that delivery and it probably just bobbled up. So he ended up kind of 50ping it off the pitch. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, I mean, it's, to be honest, I can't excuse him. It's just a very poor cross. So Tamworth with the long goal kick. Straight down the middle from the keeper, left-footed. Sarr is out jumped. And the ball finds its way. It looks like Tamworth want to do things down the left-hand side as much as possible. Sarr got his foot in well there, though. And Bissouma finds Reguilon. He finds Mikey Moore, who turns, but ends up going back to Bissouma, who finds Mikey Moore again. I like that from Mikey Moore. He's twice done that way. He's given his pass and then gone for a good return. Not just kind of stood and watched. He's tried to make space. A good angle for a return. He gets in. Mikey is already kind of trying to take this game by the scruff of the neck a bit, and I like that. There's no need for him to be stuck wide left the whole time. I think his movement will cause Tamworth trouble today. Bissouma now. He finds Moore again out on the left-hand side. He drives. Oh, beautiful ball to Maddison. Chance has a shot. And it's headed. First shot in anger from Spurs. And Spurs' second corner of the game, and hopefully Maddison will have learned not to put it on the keeper's head. Here he comes. Goes to the near post. Tamworth clear it. Bissouma picking it up in central midfield. He's being pressured, but he turns. Still being pressured. Does well. Gives it back to Archie Gray. He comes across to Dragoshin. And now Bissouma in the centre circle, looking forward. And he comes out wide to James Maddison, who goes to Mikey Moore, wide, getting his boots chalky. And now Reguilon's outside him. Chance for a cross for Spurs. And it's cleared again by Tamworth. But Spurs getting to the byline a couple of times already. That's good stuff. Bissouma picking up the ball as it comes back out. Puts his foot on it. It comes across to Sarr, who puts his foot on it and comes back to Bissouma again. And Tamworth now have all of their men behind the ball again. Maddison on the left to Moore, who goes first time down the line. He tries to get a foul, doesn't get one. And Tamworth clear it. Up to the big number 9, but he's not able to keep hold of it. And Reguilon, I think it was, who picked it up maybe. No, it was Madders, sorry. Tottenham are forced backwards to Dragoshin, who finds Reguilon in the kind of half space of that inverted fullback. Could have played it around the corner, but chose not to. Goes back to Archie Gray, goes into Basuma's feet in the 10th minute of the game now. And Madders makes a good angle for Basuma, takes it on the half turn, turns his man again. Spurs moving Tamworth around, which is pretty smart players. Mikey Moore beats his man. Plays a good ball into Werner, who actually holds it up and then passes it straight to Tamworth. To be honest, Timo Werner is doing well so far to even make himself look like not as good as a lower league club. Very poor start from Werner. He's just kind of running around aimlessly at the moment. And now he doesn't challenge the big centre-half. He comes forward and plays, nearly a good ball, but it's cut out by Reguilon. And he was tempted to play it first time to Mikey Moore, but he didn't. And it comes all the way back to Dragoshin, who is under a bit of pressure here. Dragoshin plays it short into Johnson, who helped him out. That was good stuff from Johnson, who comes across the pitch, kind of 50p's it across the pitch to Archie Gray, who finds Mikey Moore. Archie Gray finds Basuma, who tries to chip one over the top now. And it's Mikey Moore, who just didn't have the strength to outmuscle his defender, but Tamworth forced to clear long, and they do that. Archie Gray with a beautiful touch, and then a beautiful nutmeg. Lovely stuff from Gray to Reguilon, who's on his own, turns away, finds Basuma. Goes inside to Sarr, who touches it first time back to Dragoshin, and we're back in Spurs' half now. Tottenham just keeping it on the ground nicely and moving Tamworth around. Archie Gray passed it to Mikey Moore, but it went straight off, unfortunately. ITV already, of course, not already, but talking a lot about Tonks' long throw and how they'll be looking to get throw-ins anywhere within Tottenham's half. That's why Tamworth have gone down the line with their throw. And then Maddison has been just absolutely taken out, and he's still on the floor with a sore head. He's all right, Madders. There's a little break in place. I'll get in the comments. Gardu says, I think we're all aware Timo's having a mare of his time in football generally, but let's allow him to adapt to a position he hasn't played in a while, and never for Spurs. He needs this half to settle. Yeah, I agree. And thank you for your comment. But what I would just say is it shouldn't stop his ability to pass the ball 5 yards to a Tottenham player, as far as I'm concerned. 1,500 of you watching now, guys. Thank you so much for your support. Please do get into the comments so we can, especially at halftime, get some Q&A going. Anyway, still 0-0. Tamworth will be pretty happy with this so far. Bad first touch from Mikey Moore there. And that's a throw-in. Just bobbled off for him. Oh, and Tonks goes for the big long one over the top, and Archie Gray does well. But it's another throw, and this one is in a dangerous area for Tamworth, and you can hear the crowd love it whenever an opportunity for a long throw comes in. And they've got people in the crowd with Tonks 4 shirts. So here we go. It's going to be the second big long throw, and they're bringing up their big players. He put a lot of air on the first one rather than it being flat. This one's a bit flatter, and it's right on the keeper's head. And the keeper did well, Kinski, because he came for it and then kind of was so proactive that when he went down, it was given as a foul. So here we go. So Kinski's starting position was good, and he's being pushed by the striker, and that's why it's a foul. And it actually ended up hitting the post, but it was given as a foul against Kinski. So Spurs have the ball again. Basuma into Maddison, who goes straight back to Basuma, just kind of drawing out the Tamworth shape in midfield. Basuma goes inside to Pape Sarr. He's got a lot of space. And so he gives it first time out to Johnson, who goes down the line to Porro. And Porro tries the inside ball back to Johnson, but it's well defended. And that is given as a goal kick to Spurs. Goal kick to Tamworth. And as you'd expect, every time they get a goal kick, Tamworth are taking as much time as they possibly can, with the keeper kind of moving from one end of his one side of his 6-yard box to the other. And the goal kick goes long up to the centre circle, easily won by the number 9, but they're in down the left here now, Tamworth. Oh, he's taking on Porro. He's going to have a shot here, and it's well blocked. And Basuma does really well there to beat his man, bringing the ball out. Needs an option. He does well to find Pape Sarr. Beautiful stuff from Yves Basuma there. And Sarr's running across the pitch now. Finds Reguilon, who needs an option. He goes to Mikey Moore. Moore's first touch is strong this time. He goes to Basuma, who goes to Sarr. Just puts his foot on it, Pape Matar, then uses a bit of pace to get away, and then finds Porro. And it's a good 1-2 in midfield, and Spurs are breaking forward now. This is better from Tottenham. Goes outside to Brennan Johnson, who's got a bit of time. He cuts it back, and Werner had come deep, and he goes back to Johnson now. And back to Werner, and now Tamworth's body's back, but chance for Madders on the edge of the box, is it? Yeah, left foot shot for Madders. Just over the bar. Good stuff. Wasn't far over, but the keeper would have saved that if it was under the bar. Let me know in the comments what you think about Madders' position within the Spurs squad at the moment. He seems to not be kind of starting the important games. Anyway, the game has restarted. Basuma, midfield, finds Porro. Porro finds Biss again. And Tottenham just kind of moving Tamworth around in midfield at the moment. You've got to think that the Premier League, even though Spurs have played a lot of games and will, have a lot of fatigue in their legs at the moment, you have to think that if we can move Tamworth around. Great ball from Basuma into Maddison in central midfield. Just to finish that, you've got to think that we'd be able to move Tamworth around and certainly in the second half have more legs than them. Archie Gray finds Mikey Moore. Moore goes inside to Madders, who's finding a lot of space, actually. Goes outside to Porro, to Johnson. Oh, he tried the 1-2. But actually there, Johnson, even though he didn't get the 1-2 right, he worked back well and won it back for Spurs. And then a poor ball inside. I think it was from Maddison. And actually they're in down the left now, Tamworth. And everything they've done well has been down the left, as it always is for anyone playing Spurs. They cut it to the edge of the box. There's a shot on here. And it's beautifully blocked by Archie Gray. Goes out for a corner. That was gonna make Kinski make a save there. Important block from Gray. So here comes the corner. Looks like it's going to be an outswinger. Here it comes. In fact, they just chip it onto Kinski's head, who comes all the way beautifully. And he wants to get rid of it early, Kinski, but he's got nothing on. And Creaney, the number 9 for Tamworth, just stood in front of him, stopping him from getting a quick counter-attack. So, Kinski gave it. Tell you what there. And that's classic Basuma for me. He wasn't paying attention, and Archie Gray had passed him the ball, and he turned his back on it, and Spurs got away with it a little bit. Now it's with Dragoshin, who comes across to Archie Gray. And like I said, Dragoshin and Archie Gray getting a lot of time on the ball, really. They're not pressing the first pass from the centre-halves. Archie Gray now to Mikey Moore. Beats his man with his first touch and is fouled. Beats his man with his second touch and is kicked. Mikey just showing a little bit of good stuff there. He's got a little kick on his... tell you what, he's either not wearing any shin pads at all, or they're so small. So when he gets a kick on the shin like that, it is going to hurt him. But Oh, yeah. Do you know what? It was quite high from Tonks. Anyway, Moore's got the ball again on the left now, trying to beat his man. And the fullback beats him and then plays a long ball down the line into the channel. And Dragishin not out jumped him, but did well against the number 9. Bissouma fouled by 2 players there in midfield, but uses his strength and finds Sarr. Beautiful stuff from Bissouma. Sarr plays it out wide to Johnson, who gets an early cross in, but obviously we don't have any height at all in the box. And Reguilon ends up fouling their player at the back post, which is kind of unnecessary. It's a free kick. Yeah, so Johnson getting a cross in there, but it's only Mikey Moore attacking it. We don't have Dom Solanke on the pitch, so probably not worth getting any crosses with height in, I'd say. Anyway, they go for the long ball. Dragishin wins the first ball. Maddison under some pressure there, loses out, but comes to Dragishin, who comes to the left side, and it comes to Reguilon. Needs an option, goes back to Archie Gray. Kinski is on, and that's where it goes. Puts his foot on it, rolls it across to Dragishin, and Kinski trying to get all of his players as far away from him as possible so we can play a higher line. Comes to Johnson, who comes inside to Bissouma, who, other than that little bit of lack of concentration there, has impressed me in the start of this game. He's the one player on the pitch at the moment, I'd say, where probably the Tamworth players like, oof, he's a bit of a cut above, because he's taking the ball regularly in tight positions, rolling his marker, and yeah, they'll think twice about getting too tight on Bissouma. Maddison now into Reguilon, who comes back to Archie Gray. 21 minutes gone. Tamworth will be pretty happy with how this has gone so far. Reguilon, Werner ran offside, but he didn't try and pass him. Mikey Moore, again back to goal, goes back to Archie Gray. Into Bissouma. Bissouma comes left to Reguilon, who gets a little, and that's good stuff. Reguilon played it into Maddison, and Reguilon went for the return. Maddison tried the flick. It looked a bit obvious, and it was cut out. And Tamworth tried the break, but it's cut out by Spurs. And a good ball into the channel to Werner. Now, can he find Mikey Moore? Oh, my God. Werner tried to find Maddison actually through the middle, and he had to put pace on it. I don't mind that he put pace on it because it had to get to Maddis, but unfortunately, it was just in front of him. Yeah, I mean, Maddis would have been in on goal if that pass had been a bit better. It was a decent effort from Werner that time. Not much going on in this game, so I will make a note of that one. Big up and under from Tamworth, and Dragishin is pushed, but not given as a foul. And then we fire it back to Reguilon. Spurs just playing around in their own box a little bit here. First time Kinski's pressed, but he passed it first time to Bissouma, who gets its first time out wide to Dragishin, who has to come away. Finds Bissouma now. Bissouma bringing it across the park towards the left, towards Mikey Moore. He's not getting a lot of change out of his fullback at the moment, Mikey Moore. Archie Gray tries something different, though, in the air down the line and just kicks it straight out. Just some head tennis in central midfield here. Bissouma, the latest to get his head on the ball. Mikey Moore let that run out. So I thought that would be a Tamworth throw, but actually it's not. It's a Spurs throw. Reguilon looking for options. Nobody really giving him a lot. Sarr comes short for him. Mikey Moore is trusted with his touch. Reguilon being asked to turn. Yeah, he made a bad decision there, Reguilon. Oh, and actually it's broken to Tamworth in midfield. Yeah, They've still got it here, Tamworth. They've done well. They try the ball out wide to the right, but Basuma telegraphed it. He gets it into Madders, who's fouled again. It's Tonks doing all the fouling in central midfield. He's going to have to get booked at some point. Spurs try the ball over the top to Johnson. It's a good one. His touch is decent. Cross the box. Mikey Moore trying to get in there, but cleared easily by Tamworth twice. Basuma's going to have to win. Tries to win a header there and then dives on the floor looking for a foul. Doesn't get anything. Oh, lovely touch from Dragishin from a big up and under. Gets it under control. He brings it across to Archie Gray. They were just doing a stat in the commentary on ITV that since the Premier League began in 1992, only 2 non-league teams have beaten Premier League teams. Luton beat Norwich City and Lincoln won a game as well. So this would undoubtedly be, certainly since 1992, the biggest slip-up ever if Spurs didn't find a way through. Archie Gray trying to Region, comes back to Gray, just trying to move Tamworth around again here. Saar and Tottenham being pushed backwards and have to go to Kinski, who is 5 yards outside of his box and goes for a big long one up towards Johnson, who's beaten in the air quite easily. And then Saar tried to predict the bounce and he was miles wrong there, and therefore Tamworth are in through midfield now. Come to the right-hand side. You get the sense they get into situations, Tamworth, like that, where they're literally just trying to get it as close to the touchline as possible so they can get a long throw. And that time, Timo Werner got involved and allowed it to flick off his head for a throw. Looks like one of the Tamworth players has pulled up injured here. Get into the comments. Maestro says Werner has found his level. Jonag 2K says, and stats against bald-headed managers. Played 12, won 9, drawn 2, lost 1. We're in a good place to win this. Maestro says, not even threatened their keeper yet with a strong team out. Gardu says, will anyone say that pass by Gray was awful or those comments reserved for Timo? Just support the bloke. He's here whether anyone likes it or not. Well, the pass by Archie Gray was awful, but he hasn't done it 3 or 4 times in the game like Werner has. Jack Lagros says, not one shot on target after 20 minutes. Spurs Lad 2024 says, this is boring. Listen, when you're playing against, honestly, you're playing in these games against teams with low blocks, you've got to, find a way, basically. That's what it is. That's just how it is, I'm afraid, guys. I wouldn't have expected this to start any differently. And yet, here comes another long throw, so who knows what's going to happen next. And as Tonks is winding up for his long throw, Spurs have left 2 up on the break, apparently. So let's see what happens. Comes long. Who wins the first one? Spurs head. And it's Porro bringing it away. Bobbly ball in front of him. He goes for the big long one. And it comes towards the keeper. It's outside his box, so he just clears it on the half volley. And Porro gets the ball down. And he goes for the big diag towards Madders. And he's easily beaten in the air. Of course he is. Now they go for it down the line. And Archie Gray actually does well. It's a Tamworth throw on the right-hand side. And it's Anoru for Tamworth, who is back on the pitch, but he's clearly injured. You can see it in his face that he knows he's injured, but he obviously doesn't want to go off the pitch. So I wonder if this is something that could help Spurs here. Anyway, here comes the throw down the line from Tamworth. As I said, it seems, it's like they're trying to keep it near the touchline to try and get throw-in opportunities. But this throw goes to Spurs. Half an hour gone. Oh, Maddison gave a bit of a dodgy pass back to Region. Oh, lovely touch in midfield from Johnson. Gets it down. Then he tries to find Werner down the left. He does really well, actually, to find Werner, who's in the left-hand channel. Tries to go down the line, and I think that might be a goal kick, No, it's a corner to Spurs. With these kind of games, you just got to find a way and find a way to win, find a way to score goals. Maddison is going to take this corner. Some holding going on in the box between Tonks, Mikey Moore and the keeper. Tonks is clearly like the guy who rates himself the most on their team. He's pushing at Mikey Moore. And Mikey Moore's kind of pushing him as well. Anyway, here comes the corner. Easily cleared at the near post. And then Tamworth are able to come away. But Bissouma, once again, just showing his ability on the ball. Finds Werner. He finds Maddison, who's free on the left. He tries the cross. Oh, it was cleared. And then Werner brings it down. There's a chance for a shot for Werner. His shot is blocked. Porro was fouled there, but the ref doesn't give it. And Werner pulled out of a 50-50 against Creaney there, although Creaney is much bigger than him, so maybe that's not a surprise. Tamworth have it with their fullback. And they go inside and it comes back to the keeper, who Werner is half-arsedly pressing. And the keeper actually found a good ball down to the fullback. But Spurs have it back now with Bissouma in central midfield. He's driving forward. Looking for an option from Johnson, but turns away. It comes inside to Maddison. Oh, beautiful from Maddison. Chance. Shot. Oh, and it's tipped wide well by the keeper. Beautiful from Madders. He nutmegged him when he got the ball, Madders. Nutmeg, then tries to find the far corner. One-handed tip around the post. Just didn't quite get enough on it, Madders, to really challenge the keeper. It was a decent save, but not a save that you wouldn't expect him to make. And now it looks like it's Reggie on with the corner with an in-swinger. Here it comes. Oh, chance Spurs. Oh, I'll tell you what. Thought Archie Gray. There's a shot on here. And it's another corner. Yeah, Gray looked like, oh, it's just ahead of Archie Gray. And then Pape Matsar has a shot that's not quite cleared off the line on the near post, but looked like it was going wide anyway, but he kicks off for a corner. Here comes the next corner from Reguilon. It's another good delivery. And flicked away. And now Dragishin just pressuring the Tamworth player, and Tamworth clear it down the line. Bissouma up for the header, does well. Madders kind of outdone, and Madders has stayed down again, but the ball has stayed with Spurs and Sarr. Madders is okay, I think. Bissouma doing really beautifully in midfield in this game so far. He finds Pape Matsar. He just can't get it out of his feet, but it comes to Johnson. Inside, back to Bissouma, back to Johnson. Goes down the line. Oh, and then Porro tried a cross, and it goes out for throw-in on the other side. Poor. Yeah, Porro's in a really good position there. And just tries once again, just like Johnson did earlier in the game, to put a lot of pace on the cross, and it kind of, yeah, shins out almost for a throw-in. Just showing a replay of the one that Maddison stayed down for, but he's okay. The throw comes down the line. Moore wins the first one, but then it's cleared by Tamworth. Tamworth win the 50-50 in midfield and go for the long one down the channel, as you'd expect. And Inoru going for it. And then he's dived on the floor. And Porro getting a little bit of a talking to from the ref, but Tamworth will have now a long throw. Porro was kind of wrong side of his man here. Anyway, here comes Tonks with the next long throw. 34 minutes gone. Oh, and he goes short this time. Very unexpected. Honori goes down to the outside, gets towards the back, the byline, and it's cleared from Spurs for a corner. Poro used a bit of muscle there, and it was Sarr in the end who was in at the near post and clears it. Yeah, 35 minutes gone. And Tamworth, as again you'd expect, just getting loads of bodies around the keeper. It's Creaney, who looks like Creaney and Hollis, who look like they're trying to block Kinski's run. And here comes the corner. Kinski comes up for it. Beautiful claim. And he's pushed twice. He was pushed by one of the Tamworth players into the other. Yeah, he was pushed by Creaney, the number 9, into their centre-back and hits him on the shoulder with his mouth. But Kinski's okay. I really like his attitude, I have to say. So he goes short to Archie Gray. Kinski then passes it into Madders, who comes short, and he's asking for options. Goes to Archie Gray. They're just looking to try and pull out the Tamworth shape here, but it's not happening at the moment. As Gray goes across to Mikey Moore, who turns his fullback this time well, comes in narrow, and tries to play the ball to Region, and there's a slip there which has helped Spurs, so Maddison has it. Well done. Good work on the half turn from Madders. He goes to Dragoshin. I would suggest should give it to Bissouma, but instead Dragoshin goes for the big. It's a great ball actually out wide to Region, and that's a poor cross from Region cleared at the near post, but that was a great ball from Dragoshin. Do get your comments in for half time, guys. That's well, there's not been a lot to talk about in this game, so we're going to have to talk about any questions you have. Anyway, good throw towards Mikey Moore. Mikey Moore just in the left-hand space there finds Werner into Maddison, who tries the cross. And actually, it was Sarr who had run across the front there. Region did really well there. So I think Tonks might have been lining up for a shot from the halfway line there for a second. Anyway, Region now has the ball on the left. He's driving towards Tamworth. Good lad. Tries the inside ball to Werner. Nothing in it. Oh, good stuff from Madders, though. Wins it back. And Werner. Oh, he finds Maddison. Chance for Spurs. Oh, doesn't get enough on it. Easily saved. Madders is doing well, though. Yeah, the ball was just a little bit under his feet. He's trying to pass it into that far corner and just doesn't get enough on it. Archie Gray to Bissouma. Bissouma goes back to Kinski. Gray giving him an option. Kinski finds Gray pretty easily. Gray has loads of space. He finds Bissouma. We're still in Spurs' half. Bissouma opening up his body and goes across to Dragoshin. Dragoshin finds Pape. Matasar comes inside to Madders, still on the halfway line here. Madders goes back to Pape Matasar. He's looking down the line. Brennan Johnson is given an option. Turns, goes to Poro. Johnson goes for the reply and drags out some Tamworth players. So Maddison has the ball now. Goes back to the right-hand side with Pape Matasar. Tries the big cross. Oh, and Johnson was going for it, but he was well blocked off by the strength of the Tamworth player. I think it was Hollis. Porro now with the throw. He goes to Bissouma, gives it back to Porro, gets it back to Bissouma. Comes inside to Madders. Goes back to Bissouma, just again trying to play around with the Tamworth players come out of their block. Maddison finds Johnson out wide. Goes back to Pape Matar, into Maddison, who kind of does well with his body to half-turn play. Goes into Werner's feet. Werner back to Maddison. That was better. Maddison now out wide. Porro. Oh, it's Johnson, actually. Gets it across the box, easily cleared, and no striker there even anywhere near the ball. And it's a throw into Spurs towards the halfway line. Taken quickly to Bissouma, who goes back to Sarr, back to Bissouma. Need to keep the ball here because Spurs' midfield isn't there, and goes back to Dragoshin. That's the right thing. Reguilon giving him an option as the inverted fullback. Pape Matar goes back to Dragoshin. It's a terrible ball, and Kinski's out of position. This is a problem. Kinski has to kick it off. Yeah. Very poor from Spurs there, and got ourselves into a little problem. It was Dragoshin to Sarr, and Sarr's ball back to Dragoshin was horrible, and then he has to toe poke it back to Kinski, who's under a lot of pressure, and in the end just kicks it out, and that's going to be a long throw for Tonks. And we'll watch now as they try and push the keeper away. Here it comes, the long one. Kinski comes for it, does really well. And he's looking for an option here. And he goes for a long, flat kick. We know he's got that in his armoury towards Werner. Werner can't hold it. But Pape Sarr wins it in midfield. And then Werner kicks it straight to Tamworth again. And Tamworth are in, but Porro uses his strength really well. Gives it to Bissouma. That was better. And Reguilon just kicks it out. Four minutes left of this half. It's going to be another long throw for Tonks. Oh, and he's gone short this time, and no one's marking him. And here comes a corner, a cross, sorry, at the back post. Straight off for a goal kick. Gray out to Bissouma, who's looking to get on the ball as much as possible. He's pressed by Tonks, but he goes inside. And Tonks is screaming at his mates for not helping him press, and Maddison finds Mikey Moore. He's not getting on the ball enough. I'd bring Mikey Moore, say to Mikey Moore, get on the ball more in that narrow midfield. Bissouma goes back to Kinski, who comes first time to Archie Gray, who comes to Madders. Madders inside to Mikey Moore. Into Bissouma, into Sarr. Comes to Porro, back to Sarr. Who turned the wrong way there, I thought, Sarr. But anyway. Oh, very poor from Spurs there. But Porro wins the ball back. Ali McCoy's on co-commentary, just complaining about Tottenham not being good enough, basically, and being a little bit one-dimensional in their attacking play, and I'd have to probably agree with that. Porro with the throw on the right. Goes to Maddison, gives it back to Porro. Comes down the line to Bissouma, and Reguilon offers him an option in central midfield. He's got a lot of space here, Reguilon. Nearly fancied a shot, but goes out wide to Mikey Moore. He's going to try a cross here, Mikey. And it's blocked. And then Werner comes, but half-heartedly. And Tamworth just a lot stronger in the 50-50s. "44 minutes gone." The crowd loving this at the moment. Porro with a throw. Goes to Madders, gets it back. Looking for an option. Porro tries a little dink over the top. Nothing in it, and Tamworth just clear it long, as you'd expect. Archie Gray does well, but can only find the Tamworth player. It comes out wide right, but Region does well and then kicks it out for a throw-in. It's just inside the Spurs half. Will they try with Tonks from there? I think they will, you know. No, they're not going to. Tonksy. Tonks turned it down when his fullback offered it to him. So the fullback just goes down the line to try and get a better one. Mikey Moore heads it down the line. Werner again facing the wrong way. Archie Gray now under a bit of pressure. Oh, he finds a good ball to Moore, who's fouled in the back. Region on the free kick. Moore running away from him. And Basuma gives it to Region. It goes back to Archie Gray. Only 1 minute of added time. Spurs inside to Basuma. This has been a very one-note first half, but that's Basuma breaking through midfield there. Did really well, took a couple of players with him, and now Porro with a chance to cross. And it's out for a corner, blocked. I mean, that was, listen, if I'm Ange, I'm saying to Basuma, you can do that every single time, which is, he literally just took a touch away from Tonks in midfield. Tonks has zero pace whatsoever. Basuma glided past him and took a couple of other players away as well. So if he can do that in the second half, get at his feet, glide past, and then bring some players out and slip it to someone who'll be free. Here comes the outswinger. Comes to the near post. Spurs beaten in the air. And the ref calls it for half time, even before it reaches the end of the 1 minute added. And that is Tamworth 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. I'll briefly and slowly go through what has happened in that first half because, frankly, it's been very little. Probably the most exciting thing that happened in that first half was that the Tamworth goal net was not correctly attached to the goalposts. And therefore, we had about a 5 or 6 minute delay at the start as one of the Tamworth players had to get on the shoulders of another Tamworth player and tape it up with electrical tape. It was the most kind of Hackney Marshes Sunday League thing you'll ever see, except it's live on ITV in the FA Cup third round. I believe that's what they call the magic of the cup. Then, when the game did start, in the first minute, they actually, Tamworth came forward down the left-hand side and had a shot that Kinski had to tip over the bar. And it wasn't one that you would say was a difficult save, but he had to make it, and he did. 5th minute, I made a note that Tamworth had started well, and that the ball was kind of just bouncing everywhere, which you'd expect. It's a 4G pitch, and the hardest thing about those 4G pitches is once the ball starts bouncing around and you have a team that you're playing against like Tamworth who are just kicking it long every chance they get. If the first header isn't one, then it's bouncing really high. And there have been a few occasions where players, I can certainly think of Pape Matasar as one, has misjudged that bounce. 7th minute, good stuff from Mikey Moore on the left, finds Matters, but he had a shot which was then headed over. There have been a couple of occasions in the first half where Mikey Moore has kind of taken he's given the ball on the left-hand touchline, mainly from Archie Gray. And a lot of the times he's pressed quite hard by his fullback, so he has to go straight back to Gray. But a couple of times he's let the fullback get close, and then he's rolled him on the half turn and come narrow, given a pass, and then looked for a receiver of a pass as well. And I think that's something we could do a bit more, which is get Mikey Moore more on the ball. I know he's been ill, and this is his first game for a while, so maybe he'll be substituted relatively soon. I don't know. But get that ball into his feet, let him half turn, give, and then go in midfield and let him kind of make up an extra man in central midfield with Madison, kind of making more creativity in that central midfield role. I like to see that. 13th minute, Tamworth hit the post from a long throw from Tonks, but actually you saw the replay and it was given as a foul by the ref on Kinski, because each time they get this kind of infamous long throw, Tamworth, they have a couple of players trying to push Kinski themselves or trying to push a Spurs player onto Kinski and push him back into his goal. But I have to say, Kinski has been very proactive. I've really enjoyed his starting position from those long throws and from corners, and he's claimed a few of them himself as well. 15th minute, good football through midfield from Spurs, leading to a left foot shot from James Maddison just over the bar. Yeah, some intricate little midfield play, got some space for Maddison outside the box, And he's just trying with his left foot from the right-hand side to bend it into the top right-hand corner, but he gets a little bit too much on it, and it's just over the bar. The keeper would have saved it if it was under the bar anyway. 17th minute shot from Tamworth. They're in a good position, actually. Well blocked from Archie Gray. As ever, actually, in this period of time where Archie Gray has been playing centre-back, he's got his body in the way of a lot of shots. It's not just that he's very, very composed on the ball, which he is, and I've been very impressed with in his stint at centre-half, but he does read the game well and gets his body in the way well. 22nd minute, Werner. He found some space in midfield, and Madders had made a good run behind the defence, and Werner tries to find him with a left-footed through ball. He had to put pace on it, to be fair, to get it into quite a tight gap, but he just put a little bit too much on it. It's a shame. Werner, flattered to deceive, to be honest, a few times where he got the ball down and then just tried a pass to one of his own men, but instead it went to a Tamworth player. Actually, I'd have to say that probably was his best bit of play, where he tried to find Madders with that through ball, but he put too much on it. 31st minute, quality from James Maddison, a nutmeg and then a shot. So he nutmegs his player who got too close to him, and then he tries to bend the ball right-footed into the far left-hand corner. Keeper has to tip it round. Not a hard save for the keeper. He'd certainly have been disappointed if he let it in, but he had to be in the right position. Good stuff from Madders. 35th minute, I've made a note again, just that Kinski has looked great from corners. 37th minute, Madders in the box. Good play, actually. Got himself in the box in the left hand inside left channel. And then when it looked like he was going to shoot on his left foot, he brought it back to his right, and the ball's just stuck a little bit under his feet. And he's trying to do that kind of past finish into the far left-hand corner. But the ball was under his feet, so he doesn't get enough on it, and the keeper's able to catch it pretty easily. 43rd minute, and this is the last thing I've written as a note from that first half, just that Tamworth have been stronger in all the 50-50s, which you wouldn't probably surprise you. But as with any of these games, you really need to earn your right to play your football. And one of the ways to do that is to win the 50-50s and go in strong. And they haven't really done that as of yet. So, we've had a lot of comments, guys. So I'm going to get into the comments now. And Ross Pearlstone. So I'm just going to go back to some of the comments towards the back end of the second half. Ross Pearlstone said, I didn't think it's possible that Werner has gotten worse. Gardu responds though. Gardu, I'm going to put this up. He's a very I like the way that you comment, Gardu. I appreciate it, because you're kind of more of a you like to look at things kind of fairly and without kind of bias. He said, if we're watching closely, he's surrounded by players as an isolated player in the middle, talking about Werner. Mikey is hugging the touchline. No midfielder is near to him, offering layups with decent distance. Layoffs are hard. Sean says Kinski looks really thin. I'm not sure he looks thin, actually. I just think I said when we bought him, I obviously I would have loved him. I think he's great, by the way, but I would have loved it if he was like a couple of inches taller, 6'4", as they just show the kind of Inoru threat down the left-hand side of a couple of half chances that Tamworth have had. I'd have liked if Kinski was a couple of inches taller, maybe, but he's very proactive with his positioning and his footwork, and so I'm pretty happy with it. R. Ferguson, thanks for your comment, mate. Says this is crap. Too many sideways and backwards passes, but the opposition will get very tired. Look, I think the sideways and backwards passes are mainly because they're playing Tamworth are playing a deep block. There's not much space around, so we're having to try and find angles. Sean says Kinski is worrying me. I don't really know why. R. Ferguson again, hard to watch. No fast attacking football. Let's see what else we got here. Tarzan says, what's Archie Moore trying to do? Runs the wrong way repeatedly. Well, there's no player called Archie Moore. Do you mean Archie Gray or Mikey Moore? Sean, how did we get fifth last year without Solanke? We lack quality up front. Well, that's true. I mean, Richarlison had that good run, didn't he, in the middle of last year where he scored, I think, like 10 in 12 or 11 in 13 or something like that. So that kind of helped, and Sonny obviously scored a fair few goals. Phil C says, tough watch. Jack Legros says, the lack of real quality in our squad is alarming. Has been for 24 months. Gardu says, can only hope not a single injury is suffered by the players, a type of game where a random ACL can result from over-exuberant physicality and duels with Tamworth players or slipping awkwardly on a bad pitch. Very good point, actually, Gardu, yeah. But also, still, most important thing is to win the game. And if we, if we go half-heartedly into 50-50s, then you are likely to get injured and also lose the 50-50. RY Rye says, this is a bludger of a game. Wonder Timo will get hooked off at half-time again. Maestro says, not having that low block patter. Look at City and Salford. Yeah, but that was at Manchester City. And Manchester City have spent, well, they've paid like over £60 million for about 50 players in the last decade, 15 years. So they've a better squad than us, I'm afraid. Bulla says, thank you for commentating. I'm at work, so I don't have access to watch it. No problem. Silent says, hello, why is Porro not rested? Well, for me, I don't have the answer to that, other than for me, it was clearly a choice between Porro and Spence being rested, and they need Spence to play left back during the week. So that can only be it. Mike Barrett says, Biss, Madders and Gray are best so far. Yeah, I think Bissouma's been the best player on the park. And I think we could actually, if I was Big Ange, I'd be saying to Bissouma, there's more opportunity for you in midfield here to keep breaking past them as they get more and more tired and to make things happen. Maddison has been working hard. And yeah, just like I said, I'd like to see Mikey Moore getting a bit more ball time and coming in narrow a little bit. Guys, before the second half starts, once again, please do press like on this video if you haven't already. Smash that like button. Also, do subscribe to Chris's channel at Chris Cowlin. And also, I have my own channel at Barnaby Slater _ on YouTube. That underscore is vital. Come and give me a subscribe there. I'm getting close to 15,000 subscribers. And this January, I'm bringing you transfer videos every weekday. And of course, always starting with my beloved Spurs and all the transfer talk, doing the rounds with them. Also, just so you know what's going to happen after the game, I'll do an instant post-match reaction video, followed by talking to Spurs fans from all around the world about how they feel this game has gone. And then at about, what will it be? At about 3 o'clock. Yeah, well, anyway, after this game, after this stream, Chris Cowlin will be back with the Spurs Chat podcast on the same YouTube channel, but on a different stream. And that will be alongside Harry Scarf, Brian Daigle, and Adrian DeSarto. And then also, and all things hoping, we will be at that point in the FA Cup 5th round draw, which will happen at about 5 o'clock, and Chris will bring you that as well. Phil C says, usual problem of trying to unpark the bus. Cantab says, surely changes at half time. I mean, I think really he won't want to have to bring all his big guns on, but at some point he might have to. Maestro also says, Tamworth will get tired, but it's embarrassing. Jack Lagros agrees. So embarrassing. I'm not sure if it's embarrassing, but, you know, it's not great. Epec20 says, ref's been dreadful. I think the ref has been refereeing it like it's a non-league game. That's all I'd say, is letting things go that I don't think he would let go in the Premier League. Sean says, we all know our players don't have the real class of Chelsea, Newcastle and Forest players. I'm not sure about that. Cantab, we never turn up unless it's a big match. Silence asks, is Werner really that bad? I mean, let him know in the comments. What do you think? Jack says, Werner and Johnson non-existent again. Cantab asking why Will Lancashire didn't get a start today. Do you know what? I don't disagree with that. I would rather have Lancashire up there. At least he'd be putting himself about and a bit more able to hold the ball up. Henry says the pitch is a disgrace. I have to say, for a 3G pitch, for 4G pitch, it is ridiculously bobbly. What you do with 3 and 4G pitches a lot is you water them before games, but they clearly haven't done that. They've, I think, probably done the very opposite of watering it. Watered it as little as possible, and it's quite dry, and therefore it's bobbling. Let's have a look. Who else is saying things in the comments? Sean, my opinion of the handball. Which handball was that? Apec20 said they've been knocking lumps out of our players. Well, you'd expect that, wouldn't you? Yeah. Let's see. What else have we got? Silence says, I thought Rishi trained in his back. What happened then? Yeah, he's been training, but Ange said, didn't he, this week? He said, I'm not going to risk anyone who's on their way back from injury in a game on a 3G pitch. Bill C says, considering Mikey Moore hasn't kicked a ball in anger for a couple of months, he's doing well. Maestro says, we'll probably still win 4-0. Werner Johnson aren't good enough, says Nathan. Nathan, thank you for your comment. Really appreciate that. Coke Can, hello, mate. Thank you for your comments this afternoon, Barnaby and all. Jack Lagros says, Tamworth part-time is holding Tottenham at halftime, shows how low we've sunk. These games are not, it's never like, oh, you just score loads of goals in the first few minutes. It doesn't work like that. You just got to earn your right to win the game. Let's see what happens. No, it's clearly getting a few people in the comments who just here to slag everyone off, really. Stephen John Hurley says, more crap. This is embarrassing. City and Liverpool put their teams to the sword, yet we're struggling against 10th rate opposition. I mean, they were at home, weren't they, mate? So, you know, it's a bit easier. They're just showing they've got some cameras in the Tamworth dressing room. They're loving this at the moment, Tamworth, I think it's fair to say. A commenter, thank you, I'll put this up, says, have we been instructed to go easy or something? Absolutely bewildered out there. No, I wouldn't say that. It's just we're playing a deep block, and every time they get the ball, they're just trying to whack the ball as far as they can, as you'd expect them to. Gary Jarvis says, stop making excuses. It's poor performance. Yeah, it is. It's not a great performance, but, you know, we're literally playing a team this is the biggest game of their lives, every single player. So they put everything in. They're working incredibly hard, and they're just whacking the ball clear. It's not easy to break down a deep block. It's just not. I'd say we could do with probably a bit more creativity on the pitch. I don't think Pape Matar personally is designed for these kind of games where you want some technical, creative quality. He's more of an engine man, back to, you know, running back and forwards, kind of winning the ball back, etc. But there we go. Anyway, they're just coming back out onto the pitch now. Ron Tyler says, we're a laughing stock at the moment if we can't score a goal in the first half against Tamworth. So a lot of negativity there. 0-0 at half-time, as Spurs will be going from left to right in this half.
They're going to be delighted with their first half performance. We didn't have time. We'll take it. And the same will go. Well, this is the first time that Tottenham have faced non-league opposition in the FA Cup. It's actually the third time since 19.
And here's the kickoff. And Tamworth play it back and then go long high ball. Comes to Porritt. He's fouled for sure. Not given by the ref once again. Johnson tries to pass it down the line. It's blocked off. And it's a throw into Porritt. Porritt gets it back from Bissouma, and Bissouma has the ball again. Plays it outside of the boot to Reguilon. Reguilon goes wide to Mikey Moore. Fronts up his fullback, but goes back to Reguilon. Comes back to Archie Gray. To Reguilon, who turns twice and gets himself in a bit of a dodgy position. Gives it to Bissouma. It comes back to Archie Gray. Bringing it forward. Werner comes short for him. And then gives it back to Archie Gray and runs away from him. Like I said in the first half, really, the centre-back's not being pressed. Spurs chip it over the top. It's a good ball, actually. And I thought Moore could maybe, I think it was Moore, could maybe have been a bit stronger on the bounce there. When Archie Gray lets the Tamworth player jump over him, and then a foul is given against Archie Gray. It's a free kick to Tamworth in the Tottenham half. Here's a question for you. I'm going to ask it because I like to, rather than believing in jinxes, I like to think that if I say something, it won't happen. If Tottenham were to lose this game, do you think Ange Postecoglou would get sacked? If Tottenham were to lose to a team not in the league, let me know in the comments. Do you think Postecoglou would get sacked by Levy for that? Levy is at the ground as Tamworth play the big free kick to the far post. They win the header easily, but they were offside anyway. And then they kick the ball away, Tamworth, but of course the ref won't do anything about it. Archie Gray. Yeah, like I said in the first half, the centre-backs at Spurs just not being pressed at all. And they only start pressing Tamworth when we get into midfield. Dragoshin now looking for an option, and therefore he runs forward into their half. And that's a bit better because that took a man away. Johnson just goes back to Dragoshin, who is now pressed, and goes back to Kinski, and he's being pressed. Takes a heavy touch there, Kinski, but does really well and finds Reguilon across on the left-hand side. He goes down the line to Moore, who holds it up well, and into Bissouma. That's good stuff from Spurs, and Bissouma tries a longer ball, and it's a good one to Porro, who's in space down the right-hand side now, driving towards the Tamworth box. Just holds it up a bit. Reguilon out wide to Sarr, who goes back to Reguilon, goes back to Sarr, and now Sarr's going to try the cross. It's easily cleared by Tamworth, and Tottenham didn't even have anyone anywhere near them. And Bissouma is there fouled outside the box, but not given. And it comes down the line to Maddison, who has a shot, and it's well saved. Maddison was from a tight angle there. Keeper has to save it. Good for Madders, though. Got into the box and had a shot. And after that, Tamworth have won a free kick in the halfway line. So Bissouma was fouled in midfield, not given. The ball came to Porro, who finds Madders, and he goes for the far corner. And it is a decent save in the end. You'd expect him to make it. It's a decent height for him, but he does it, and nobody's following up for Spurs. Oh, and the keeper's sitting on the floor for some reason. He says he's got a sore kind of side by the looks of things, the keeper. More than anything, you'd imagine this is probably a way of trying to take some time out of the game, give them a breather. Physio is on, though, for the keeper. And the keeper is a building surveyor by trade. Go into the comments, see what you guys are saying. Doug Hill says, back in the 80s, Oldham played on a plastic pitch and took many notable scalps, including Arsenal. Yeah, as did QPR, as did Luton. They all had plastic pitches in the 90s, but then they were banned from the top division. Epec20 says, I hate the FA Cup. Your players get smashed to shite, players get abused, and you have to play on a plastic pitch. Bike says, no, in answer to my question about Ange, says, no, Ange won't lose his job. Just because we aren't playing silky football against a deep low block team doesn't mean we suck. And it's not the end of the effing world. Tom Bowder says, no, don't think he'd be sacked, but the suffering for the fans would be horrendous. Yeah, that's true. It would be horrendous. Anyway, they have a free kick in the Spurs half now, and they're going to play a big one up towards the far post. And here it comes. Yeah, indeed, towards the far post. But Kinski comes all the way for it and claims he's in. Oh, and he wanted to do a low, flat, quick one there, Kinski. But thought better of it and throws it to Porro, who comes inside to Bissouma. Finds Reguilon, and it comes back to Kinski. Puts his foot on it and comes to Dragishin. And he's asking Dragishin to just go forward and drive forward with it, but he wouldn't. So it comes left to Archie Gray, who does drive forward with it. Not at any particular pace, though. I don't think the Spurs players really trust the bobble of the ball to kind of drive at pace ever. That's why they're keeping things quite kind of one-paced. Maddison plays a ball inside, and Porro actually deals with it really well. Plays it out wide to Johnson, who's one-on-one. Goes down the line to Sarr. Comes back to Johnson. Takes his man on, gives a bit of a difficult ball into Mikey Moore, who did make a good run for him. And he's out wide right now, Mikey Moore, turning. Looking for options. Comes back to Porro. But I like that. I like Moore getting a little closer to where the ball is. Bissouma to Porro. Comes inside and then is beaten from a 50-50. Oh, my God. And that's gone for a Tamworth throw, which I didn't think was a Tamworth throw. Yeah, Ali McCoy's on co-commentary just saying we're not getting nearly enough from the front three. And I agree. We're not getting anything from the front three, frankly. But I did like that Mikey Moore just then did come all the way across to try and get on the ball. As Dragishin wins a header. Tamworth win the second header in midfield. Dragishin wins the third. And then Tamworth play it out wide to the left. Pape Matasar got his body in a good position, though. And then a bad foul on Porro, which I'm telling you in the Premier League would be a yellow card, but this ref's not doing that, obviously. Archie Gray now, bringing it out. I think this is something Spurs have to do more. Let's bring the ball out midfield from the centre backs. Mikey Moore on the left, running up 2 players. Has to bring it back narrow to Bissouma. Has to turn away. Oh, and he slips Bissouma. And then all he could do was end up passing it to a Tamworth player in midfield. And they're driving forward now on the transition. Bissouma gets his body in the way beautifully. And Sarr, therefore, Sarr had a chance to really poor from Sarr. Tamworth now have the ball with their centre half. He's pressed. Oh, wow. And he did a pivot roll on the ball like he was in FIFA. Wow, what a moment. Because he was under so much pressure. Dragoshin clears it after a long ball. Oh, Pape Sarr winning the ball back well. Beautiful skill at centre half. It's Hollis, the centre half, the number 26. He puts his foot on the ball and pivots round Pape Matar Sarr. And he was under a lot of pressure from both Sarr and Werner. Anyway, Spurs have it wide left with Mikey Moore. He's getting on the ball a bit more, and I'm pleased for him. There you go. Beats his man easily on the left. Beats 2 men on the left. Beautiful. Best bit from Mikey Moore of the day. Werner in the air. Cleared off the line. Brilliant from Mikey Moore. That was Spurs' best player of the game by far. Got it to Mikey Moore, and he was more aggressive, and he just slipped a drop of the shoulder, Chris Waddle-esque, did it twice, got to the byline, then with the outside of his right boot, got it to the back post. Werner, I think, does do the right thing, tries to head it back across the keeper, and a defender gets on the line. And this is good from Brennan Johnson, who comes inside there. Finds Maddison, who finds it out to Mikey Moore. They know Moore is the danger here. Comes inside Mikey, gives it back to Madders on the edge of the box. Cuts across. Comes across to Porro, who has a dig. And it's over the bar. Got to give it to the defender here for getting back on the line, because otherwise it's a goal for Timo Werner. Now it was Hollis again, the guy who did the pivot. Long kick. One in the air from Dragoshin, but drops down to Tonks. Don't foul him. Tamworth coming forward here. Good stuff in midfield from Tamworth. Forced to come backwards a little bit and come across. And now they're going to get a ball down the line. Oh, they'll turn from the forward up against Porro. Some good stuff from Tamworth here, but Pape Sarr is doing well, working hard when Tamworth have the ball. And they do a big switch diag, and that's one in the air by Reguilon. Looked to me like he was fouled, but it wasn't given. Tamworth get the ball back in midfield. And then they try and play it down the line, but kick it off the pitch and then kick it away to waste some time. And of course, because it's not the Premier League, no one's getting booked for that today. Although you can imagine if Tottenham were to do it when they're 1-0 up, he probably would get booked. But that's how it works, and that's okay. 56 minutes gone. Tamworth 0, Tottenham 0. Reguilon with the throw, looking for options. Goes to Moore, and then Reguilon just 50p's it off the pitch, and this will be a chance probably for Tonks to get a long throw in. I can tell you, because I did look, because I'm a Spurs fan, Tamworth were 18-1 to win this game before, so they are going with the long throw. Here it comes into the box. Jesus, and it is long. It's come all the way to the edge of the 6-yard box. Chance for a shot on the edge of the box. Blocked from Spurs. And then a secondary shot blocked again. It's a corner to Tamworth. So the first is a good effort. Oh, and it's blocked by Dragoshin and by Gray, the second one. Here comes the corner, and the fans are loving this, to say the least. But the Tonks long throw was from like basically near the halfway line, and it came all the way to about 8 yards out. And Dragoshin has gone down in the box saying that his ankle has been taken out. And of course, Tamworth player saying that he dived. And Dragoshin is holding his ankle. And it's Creaney. So they're just showing it now. He's basically, Dragoshin is rugby tackled. And he gets his ankle caught underneath Creaney when he's rugby tackled. Fucking hell. So here comes the corner. Bad director, I can't see what's happened. And a beautiful claim from Kinski. And he goes for the early kick. Oh, what a kick straight to Werner, whose touch is heavy. Then he plays a bizarre ball down the line to Porro. There you go. Moore. Beautiful ball from Moore into Madders. Madders comes backwards to Saar. Comes inside to Basuma. Back to Saar. Out wide left to Region. He's got Madders there. Goes to Moore. He's going to have a dig here, Mikey Moore. Oh, it's blocked by a defender. He didn't get much on it. And Archie Gray fouled. 60 minutes gone. Pedro Porro on the ball now. Basuma just running away from him to give an easier pass inside to Pape Matasai. Now drives forward and goes straight to Mikey Moore. He's got Region outside him. Mikey Moore just drifts past his player. Uses some good strength as well, Mikey Moore. Gets to the byline as well. And then he's just tackled. But he wins the second tackle more, but he's not as strong as Crompton. And that went off for a corner, but that won't be given. And it's a throw to Spurs. Pape Matasar on the ball. Goes backwards to Gray. Goes down the line to Region. He gets a cross in. It's a terrible cross. It's the first man. And goes back to straight back to Region for a throw. He's looking for options. I mean, Mikey Moore again, getting to the byline. Turns this time, back onto his right foot. Beats his man easily. Tries the cross. No one in at all. Saar on the edge of the box. Finds Basuma. We don't have... Get Solanke on this pitch so that Mikey Moore can keep setting him up with... Mikey Moore in the box again. No, he didn't foul him there. Oh, dear. But Moore is definitely looking the most dangerous player on the pitch at the moment. It probably was a foul in the end. "63 minutes gone. Tamworth 0, Tottenham 0. Tell me you're a Tottenham fan without telling me you're a Tottenham fan. Games like this, man. Archie Gray. He goes, let's go long down the line. And then Tonks goes down the line as well to himself. And he's beaten Bissouma. Bissouma working hard backwards and then does well to keep the ball. And then just goes, that's beautiful from Bissouma. And Spurs just playing it around back to Archie Gray now. Spurs just moving them around. And then in the end, Reguilon goes long, but I'm not sure that's going to do much. It doesn't, except it's a bad clearance from their centre half and comes to Brennan Johnson, who's challenged. Oh, and the through ball. Werner's in. And he's missed it. Werner missed a one-on-one. It's a brilliant through ball from Johnson. Anyway, Mikey Moore on the left-hand side to Maddison. Werner just didn't look like he... Anyway, good ball from Reguilon to Moore. Rolls it onto his left. Tries to cut it back and it's a corner. Good stuff from Moore. Werner just never, ever looked like composed. So it's in the inside left position. He's onside. He's running into the box and he just tries with his left foot to... He doesn't try and chip it over him or around him. And the keeper just spreads himself. Anyway, Spurs now with Bissouma outside the box. Looking for a run from Reguilon. Finds Maddison inside, who comes back to his left. Goes back to Bissouma and Spurs on the retreat here a little bit. But with the ball. Goes to Reguilon. Has to turn again. Bissouma comes inside now to Pape Matsar, who's made himself some space. He gets it out wide to Mikey Moore again. He plays it into Madders. Back to Moore. Maddison gets to the byline on the left again. Oh, finds it inside. Chance. Werner shot blocked. And now Tamworth are on the break. And it's actually Bissouma who gets it out for a corner. "65 minutes gone, and Tamworth have a corner." Werner keeps looking on the sidelines. He must be expecting to get subbed pretty soon. He was only 7 yards out, Werner. Oh, it's cleared off the line. Solanke and Bergvall about to come on for Spurs, and we need Solanke up there, I'm afraid. That's going to be an in-swinging corner. Here it comes. They just nearly scored here, Tamworth. It's a good delivery. And he heads it just wide, and Kinski didn't look bothered about it. And actually, Bissouma got his body in the way. So, Bergvall and Solanke on for Sarr. Surely it's got to be Werner for the second one. It better be Werner and not Moore. Oh, it's fucking Mikey Moore. Fuck off, Ange. He's best player on the park at the moment. Honestly. I know he's been ill. Fuck, he's the best player on the park at the moment. Really fucking winds me up, that. That really winds me up. Because it shows, again, it feels like Ange is sometimes hierarchical about it with age and stuff. And it's like, no, Mikey Moore is the best player on the park at the moment. He's linking up well with Matters. Oh. All right, we've got 22 minutes left. Is this going to replay? This game might be going to replay. Dragusin. Good stuff. Bergvall's made a good run for Johnson there. Bergvall cutting inside. Already bringing a bit of energy to it. Basuma. Inside to Johnson. And Porro plays Johnson in down the right, and he's in. But his cross is blocked. And he easily just runs to the keeper. Johnson has stayed down. Got to give it to Onoru, the kind of left forward for Tamworth. He looked like he got injured in the first half, but he's worked really hard ever since. And Johnson is properly limping. Another reason not to have just taken off Mikey Moore, I'd say. Gonna have to run that off, sorry. And Tamworth have a big goal kick down the middle. Oh, and tell you what, it hit Dragusin's back, and we got a bit lucky there. And Porro goes long. Easily swept up in midfield by Tamworth. And then Madders tried to foul them about 3 times there. We're into the 70th minute, and it is Tamworth 0, Tottenham 0. Anyway, they go for a long ball. Johnson tries to find Bergvall, and it's broken to Tamworth just outside the Spurs box here. They're in on the left-hand side now. Porro does well. Keeps it on as well. He blocked it and then kept it on. Then tries to play a ball down the line, but straight to Tamworth. Bit of a bizarre ball, but Bergvall blocks it well. And then Tamworth kick it off the pitch. Porro with the throw into Basuma, who gives it back to Porro. Good stuff from Basuma. And Spurs are able to get away. And Reguilon takes it in midfield. Finds Madders, who finds Werner on the left. Now Werner goes down the line to Reguilon. Can he get a cross in? Oh, tell you what, it came all the way to Johnson. And he hits kind of the post/side netting. It was a good chance. I'll tell you what, Johnson looked offside as well, but there's no VAR. And Johnson should have scored, actually. But that was good from Spurs down the left. Spurs win a free kick in central midfield and take it quickly, and then the ref makes them go back, which is completely ridiculous because they can take the free kick from wherever they want as long as it's behind the play, surely. "18 minutes left. Tottenham try one over the top, and it gets to Werner on the left. He's a different challenge for that fullback, and he gets the cross in. And it's cleared at the back post. Johnson, can you get it under? Oh, it's a terrible touch from Brennan Johnson, but manages to keep it on and goes back to Porro. Needs options. Bergvall trying to get near him. Basuma. Basuma goes to Porro, who tries the dink into the box. Not a good decision. It's cleared, but Basuma gets the first touch on it. And then he's pressed, but he gets it back to Archie Gray, who goes to Dragusin. He's going to have to go back to Gray. That's okay. Reguilon's outside him, but he goes to Werner instead. He looks more comfortable immediately on the left-hand side, I have to say. Goes inside to Madders, who then goes to Johnson, and Porro's outside him. And he finds Porro in the box, cuts it back. That's cleared. And it was going for throw, but Johnson keeps it on. Goes inside to Madders. And I think Tamworth are starting to visibly fatigue here. Spurs are moving them around. Bergvall into Johnson, sorry. We're back on the halfway line now with Dragusin. Into Bergvall. Just does a little body feint. Gets away from his man quite simply in midfield there. And then plays it, draws the man and plays it to Reguilon, who goes outside to Werner. Bergvall's near him. Werner goes to the byline. Maddison, it was well defended. Werner's gone down, actually. Maddison plays it to Bergvall, who tries the cross. Oh, nearly found Solanke. And now Tamworth are on the break. Not many men forward, so they hold it up around the halfway line. Then they've got a couple of men driving forward, and Spurs. It goes off for a Spurs throw. $16 left. God. Good throw into Solanke. Tries to use his strength in midfield and ends up giving away a foul. And Tamworth will sit on that. $75 gone. Tamworth 0, Tottenham 0. Daniel Levy, they cut to in the crowd. He's got a beanie hat on. You don't often see that with Levy, do you? Anyway, they go long, straight down the right channel in the box. Tamworth win the first one. Bissouma tries to get a clearance on it. And it nearly rebounded straight over Kinski from just the clearance hitting Tonks. On Kinski, gave a bit of a dodgy ball out. Finds the ball to Porro this time, though. It goes down the line to Bergvall. Bergvall does beautifully in midfield to beat his man just by rolling the ball over his foot. Lovely. Comes to Reguilon. He's still working hard. Out wide to Werner. Goes down the line to Madders. Tries to cut it back. Reguilon down the left. Looks like it's a throw-in. Yeah. Oh, poor touch from Werner in the box. But the clearance comes to Archie Gray. Oh, who's then beaten. And that's a great foul from Porro. He'll take a booking for that. And why not? But it was a good foul to give away. Tamworth were in here, and Porro did really well to get his body across, and it's a good booking to take, I think, because Spurs had men caught ahead of the ball. Oh my God! So it was Bissouma's clearance, and it just somehow hits Tonks's knee, and very nearly flies over Kinski. He catches it pretty simply in the end, but it's worrying for a second, that's for sure. Anyway, the long free kick is taken. Tonks wins another header. Oh, God, the referee, man. He's just calling for offside when we had the ball back and we were going forward. Yeah. Anyway, Spurs down the left now. Reguilon to Werner. And there's more space for Werner at the moment, for sure. Werner goes with a long pass out to Johnson. It's a good one. His touch isn't great, though, but his second touch is good. He cuts into the box and then holds the ball up, and I don't know why. Anyway, Bergvall's with him. Porro goes back to Bergvall. He's at the byline, cuts one back. Well cleared. Tamworth are getting deeper and deeper and more fatigued. Porro trying to get a cross in now. Comes to Solanke, who gets out wide to Werner on the left. Just plays a very bizarre high ball. It's easily cleared in the end, and Archie Gray does well to get the ball down. Finds Bissouma into Porro. Madders coming inside, trying. Oh, lovely turn from Madders. Oh, but just. Oh, Spurs just being very poor in 50-50s, but Madders wins it. Gets it out to Johnson now. One-on-one. Come on, Brennan. Goes outside him. It's a good cross across the box. Cleared at the near post again by the Tamworth player. And Archie Gray does well in midfield once again, ahead of the number 9. Reguilon out wide to Werner. They're complaining about the tempo being better now from Spurs, but I think that's because Tamworth are stepping off a little bit now from tiredness. Bergvall turns his man in midfield well. Beautiful stuff. Lovely ball down there. We're right in now. Oh, God. Porro was in at the byline, just whacks it across the box, and yet Tamworth get lucky. Spurs have the ball back in halfway. Okay, Dragishin. Back to Archie Gray. So yeah, I was just saying that the co-com's complaining that Spurs haven't had this tempo and this space in all game, but it's because fatigue has set in. They know they're in the last 10 minutes or 12 minutes now, Tamworth. And as a result, Spurs are getting a lot more space. And I think also Bergvall coming on the pitch has helped. Comes out to Johnson, who gets it back to Madders. I think because we've got another, Bergvall's just a lot better kind of technically when the ball comes to his feet. He has more of a drop of a shoulder in him than Pape Matar. And as a result, we're able to kind of keep better positions. And as a result, I'd say that Werner especially is getting a lot of space out wide left, which is another reason why it's a shame for me that Mikey Moore isn't on the pitch. But anyway, Werner now just found Bissouma inside, running straight down the middle of the pitch now. Bissouma brings it out wide right to Johnson. Johnson plays down the line to Werner, his touch inside to try and find a man is bad, and Tamworth are able to clear. That's going to be a throw into Spurs on the halfway line with Dragishin. We're into the 80th minute now. Tamworth making a couple of subs, and that makes sense, to be honest, to bring some energy onto the pitch. Trust me, guys, this is nervous laughter. Like, it's so Tottenham right now. So Tottenham. I did, because I grew up in Woking. I followed Woking on some FA Cup runs. We went to Highfield Road to play Coventry, and Woking got a draw there, and the replay was back at Woking, I remember. So that was a time that and that was when Coventry were in the Premier League. That was a time that a non-league club got a result, took it to a replay, but yeah, shouldn't really be happening. Of course, Wednesday night we've got Arsenal. So Porro with the throw goes to Solanke, hold it and turn. Goes back to Porro, who goes backwards to Bissouma. Not blessed with options here, Biss, so turns. Goes back to Archie, Radu Dragishin, sorry. Dragishin slipped a little bit and then tries to break past his striker. He's pressured. Johnson goes inside to Porro. He tries to get it back to Johnson, but it's a pretty easily telegraphed ball. And Tamworth now in down the left with their sub. He looks like he's got legs. But Bissouma gets his body in the way well. Porro has the throw. Dragishin finds Archie Gray. We're into the 82nd minute here, guys. Porro tries a long ball towards Solanke, and he could flick it on here. He's beaten in the air quite roughly there, Solanke, and Tamworth win the second ball in midfield. And the number 9 is backing into Dragishin, and the ref falls for it. Who's he booking here? Oh, he's booked a Tamworth player for calling for a booking. Now, a free kick that they're going to play into the box from the halfway line. This could end up being just the worst day in Tottenham's history here, if we're not careful. Here comes the big free kick. They play it out wide, and Dragishin is fouled by Carini this time, the number 9. Spurs look to take it quickly. And they do down the line, but Werner can't hold on to the ball. Sorry, he's been fucking piss poor, Werner. Carini now has the ball down the line. Maddison does beautifully. Comes across to Bergvall now, bringing it to the right-hand side. Porro and Johnson. Oh. Poor ball, just kicks it off the pitch. One of the Tamworth coaches has been yellow carded. And Tonks is coming off the long throw merchant in the 84th minute now. We're taking Creaney off as well, the big number 9. Okay, into the last 5 minutes. Premier League, Tottenham against the part-timers of Tamworth. Good strength in midfield from Solanke, but he's kind of out-muscled. Porro does well, actually, there to win it back. And Bissouma. Oh, and the man they brought on, the number 12, is the son of Christopher Ray, who used to play for Arsenal. He's playing up front now, so there's a script written for you if you like it. Anyway, Archie Gray in central midfield, plays it to Reguilon, who goes down the line to Werner, goes back to Reguilon, and goes back to Gray. Werner, back to Reguilon. Those subs have, I think, brought a little bit more energy to Tamworth and Tottenham now. Just again working against a deep block as Porro finds Johnson, who of course has to come back to Porro. Goes inside to Maddison, tries to turn it around the corner to Bergvall, but Bergvall hadn't quite seen it. And Tamworth are on the break here. Ray. Oh, and he turns into space, and they're in down the left here now, Tamworth. You get to cross in, it goes over Kinski, and that's a goal kick. Okay, Spurs have the ball once again in the centre circle, and it's Reguilon who plays a good inside ball to Solanke, who comes short this time. He's fouled. The ref doesn't give it, and it breaks to Tamworth, who now have space in central midfield. And they're in down the left again. What are we doing here? And play inside, and Spurs do well. And it comes out with Bergvall, and it was actually Solanke who came with him. Oh, beautiful ball from Bergvall, and Werner's in on the left, is he? Oh, it's good defending, actually, but Bergvall is able to keep the ball on the pitch. And then they've given a handball against Bergvall for a ball that was whacked at him from literally no distance. Like, wait, and yet that was the handball that wasn't given against Newcastle when that was a through ball. Just, referees don't have a fucking clue what they're doing. Into the 88th minute now. 3,000 of you watching, guys. Thanks so much for your support. Try and put a like on this video if you can bear to do it. Long kick from the keeper. Oh, Solanke did well there and was fouled. Oh, and the ref actually gives that foul, so that's good of him. Ali McCoy on COCOM saying it's been disappointing, the lack of creativity from Tottenham. Well, I would agree, but he's clearly refusing to bring on Decky, for instance. Anyway, Johnson tries to play the ball down the line to Bergvall, but it's blocked. Porro now to Johnson. Goes inside to Bergvall, tries to turn his man, is fouled, not given. Tamworth clear it down the line. Dragusin tried to flick with his shoulder there. Porro is fouled, not given, and in midfield they get through. Bissouma dives in, and now Tamworth are in down the middle, and he plays it out wide right, and actually Region does well. It comes back to Kinski, who rolls it out to Dragusin, and we're into the 89th minute. This is fucking mortifying, I have to say. So embarrassing for Spurs, but Porro tries a big diagonal again towards Werner. Werner's in behind, is he? Not strong enough. Doesn't even go for the ball in the end, Werner. Basically, a beautiful ball. This happened twice now. A beautiful ball over the top, this time from Porro. And Werner's in the inside left channel. And all he has to do is just be strong and get his body in there first against the centre half. He pussies out. Absolutely pussies out. Now, it'll be interesting to see how much added time the ref plays. He's been really reffing this like it's a National League game. So I bet he hardly finds any. Porro to Archie Gray. Inside to Bissouma. Turns. Region down the line to Werner, who comes inside. That's a bit better from him, but he loses the ball. Of course he does. And Dragusin used his strength well there. Okay, they found 6 minutes added, thank God. Well, I say that. I mean, the key thing here is to stay in the cup. Of course it is. As Region tries a big diag towards Johnson. That's one in the air, so Spurs have a throw. Come on, Tottenham. Just find a way to win this game and stay in the fucking cup. Porro. Just do it quickly, guys. We're into the last 5 minutes of the game. You've got to do it quickly. Come on, Porro. Bergvall. Back to Porro. Comes inside. Oh, and Porro tried to find... Maddison made a run for Porro. But he stopped the run. Porro tried to find him. It just goes straight through to the keeper. Keeper still has the ball. And does a little spin. He's had the ball for 25 seconds now. And now kicks it long. Gets underneath it. Nobody challenges for Spurs, but it drops to Porro, who tries a good ball. It's a good ball down the line to Johnson. And he's beaten down the line. And it's a Tamworth throw. Tamworth now taking so much time over everything. Tottenham have been talking, all fans and like on the podcast stuff all year, about how Tottenham have to get in the top 8 of the Europa League so as not to have a two-legged playoff. Well, we're about to have a replay against Tamworth. Or worse. Ali McCoy is loving it on CoCom, saying how he couldn't see this coming. Porro not blessed with options, tries to play it down the line. It's blocked for throw. Porro is taking some time over this throw. Why not? Take your time on it, mate. Oh, he's still got it, Porro. Still taking his time, literally. To Solanke. Porro finds some space. He's got space to run into. Then it's handballed, but not given by the ref, obviously, and the player stays down. Oh, maybe it hit him in between the legs and the groin, so he's gone down. Oh yeah, it does. That's on a cold day. That is horrible. That is horrible. I mean, it's not even as if Tottenham have made loads of chances. Werner had a one-on-one, had a shot from 8 yards out. But if you pick Timo Werner, that's what's going to fucking happen. Took Mikey Moore off instead of Timo Werner. Okay, we're into the 94th minute, everybody. Tottenham get a throw in, and then are absolutely weak as fuck down the line. Dragoshin's kind of fortunate to win that in the halfway line. Pumps it up towards Solanke, who's not had any change out of his centre half since he's come on. Bergvall wins it in the air. He's great in the air, Bergvall, for his height. Dragoshin. He's wrong side there. And this foul, Dragoshin. Bergvall in midfield now. Goes out wide to Maddison, who's been fouled. And then the ball's kicked away, and that's a booking for the Tamworth player. We're into the last 2 minutes of the game. Are Spurs going to use this as an opportunity to get the ball in the box? Probably not. Yeah, it goes short. And it's a terrible cross. Spurs don't even have anyone on the box. Porro trying to get the ball down. He's fouled, but not given, of course. And then Tamworth bring it down the line. Get up. Oh, the ref's given them a foul in Spurs' half. Very little in it. And the goalkeeper's going to take this free kick. And they're putting all their bodies forward, Tamworth. It's the last minute of the game. There should be a little bit added on again because of the player going down. But Spurs trying to keep a high line about 23 yards out. Here comes the keeper dinking it towards the back stick. Tamworth win the first ball. Oh, Tottenham slips. And they're in the box here, Tamworth. And they just had a shot on goal, and it's gone out for a corner. And I thought they were going to score. Is it a save by Kinski? It's Solanke basically ends up slipping. So Tamworth have the ball in the Spurs box. He brings it on his left, and it's blocked from Bissouma. Now they have a corner. And here comes the corner. It's a big outswinger. They win the first ball. Bissouma blocks. Oh, and I'll tell you what, Kinski's just made a huge save. And there's a break on here for Maddison. And he gives a bit of a dodgy ball to Bergvall, who tries to get the cross in. It's flicked. But Tamworth do well. Bergvall wins the header. Tottenham nearly went out of the FA Cup to Tamworth. My heart is literally pounding. And long shot from Tamworth, a long kick from Tamworth, and that is the end of the game. This is my instant match reaction to Tamworth 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0 in the FA Cup third round. And I can tell you that it's just embarrassing. And I'll tell you why it's embarrassing. Because in the last minute of the 6 added minutes of the 90, Tottenham nearly conceded and lost to a non-league team in the FA Cup. And we're somehow still in it. But it was one-paced. It was complacent. We're playing against a team who, sure, they played a deep block, but they had the better chances. Tamworth haven't kept a clean sheet in the National League in 10 games. We hardly made anything of it. Werner was kept on the pitch all game, despite the fact that Mikey Moore, when he was out wide left, was our best player on the park for a while. Keeps Werner on the pitch. Werner misses our 2 best chances. Honestly, we beat Liverpool 3 days ago or something. Honestly, just completely embarrassing. And like at half time, lots of people in the comments of the... Sorry, I'm going to start my instant match reaction again. Apologies. This is my instant match reaction, guys. I'm basically just completely embarrassed by that performance. As I was saying, you know, at the end of the game, in the last few kicks of the 6 minutes added time after the 90 minutes, Tamworth should have won. They should have won. They had a shot blocked from about 7 yards by Bissouma, and then a huge save from Kinski, who kept another clean sheet. That's the only positive I can think of from the game. But honestly, overall, it's just completely embarrassing. That performance was embarrassing. I said at halftime, I was kind of quite chill at halftime. I was like, look, this is the way these games go sometimes. You play against a deep block. You could play against a team and a club and a town that are having the biggest game of their entire career. And, you know, you just have to do and find a way. Well, we didn't find a way. And we were absolutely just complacent, one-dimensional, sideways and backwards. No creativity on the pitch. He took off Mikey Moore, who was our best player, and left on Timo Werner. Timo Werner misses the 2 best chances we have. And it's no surprise. Tamworth hadn't kept a clean sheet in 10 games in the National League, and they keep a clean sheet against Tottenham Hotspur. Just absolutely embarrassing. The only positive, other than Kinski's performance, is that we are still in the FA Cup, and you've got to stay in the FA Cup. That's the key. And we could have lost it in the last game moment there, and it would have been probably the biggest result in the history of the FA Cup. And of course, that would have happened against Tottenham. Of course, it would have done. And we would have had to listen to it the whole time. Wait, a couple of you are saying there's extra time. Is there extra time? Is that what's happening? Wait, does it go to penalties this game? Oh, there's extra time and pens. Well, then I'm going to stop. Shows how much I know. I don't know fucking shit. I have to watch more of this game? Oh, God. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. Well, shows I don't know anything. I've tried to do because I've been on delay. I've not really been getting into the comments, and so I've obviously missed a few of you saying that that's extra time and penalties, or that there will be. Oh, B McGrath, will you stop being a bloody sook? You honestly sound like a whinging pom. No shit, there's extra time. You have no idea. Sorry, there never used to be extra time and pens in the 3rd round of the FA Cup, mate. Sorry, just every year down the years. So chill out. But always nice to hear comments from Australia, of course, calling me a whinging pom. Listen, mate, you think that was a good performance? It's not a good performance. Tim Langford says, read out witty banter in the chat, more enjoyable than the game. Yeah, well, anyway. Okay, so there's extra time and penalties. Showing my age there, because I clearly didn't know about that. Oh, God, if this goes to penalties, can't bear it. But no, I'm on too much of a delay to be in the chat during the game. And they're just showing the replay of the chance for McGlinchey, who hits it from 7 yards towards the near post, and Bissouma blocked it. And then the next one, Bissouma blocks a shot. Anyway. Oh, they're bringing Sonny on. Yay. Tarzan says Werner on the final penalty law. He's bringing on Jed Spence as well. Kulusevski coming on. Well, got to find a way to win. I feel sorry for Tamworth, because back in the day you'd get a replay, and that would be their biggest money spinner of time. That would save their club for years, because in the FA Cup, the away team gets half of the gate receipts. So I feel sorry for them, but Tottenham have to find a way forward. Anyway, they're going to have a shot here, Tamworth, from outside the box. It goes over the bar. Son, Decky, and Spence have come on. Madders, Werner, and someone else off. Spence tries the big diag, and it's a good ball to Son. Son goes back to Reguilon. Son tries to take it down the line, and it's out for throw-in. Reguilon tries a long throw. Kulusevski with the first touch. And that is a corner. Kulusevski did really well there. to keep it on when the defender was trying to shepherd it out. Here comes Sonny. He's going to try the in-swinger. He's asking a cameraman to move. He goes with the short corner to Decky. Comes back to Sonny. Goes outside the box to Lucas Bergvall. Brings it across the right to Spence, and it bobbles over his foot. Gets it back down. Porro's still on the pitch. I think it must be Johnson who's come off the pitch. Chance of Kulisevsky trying to set up Bergvall outside the box. Oh, and then Basuma's pass is blocked off. And there's been a foul against the Spurs player, Porro. Yeah, it's a late tackle on Porro. And it's a booking for the Tamworth player. One thing you would say, sometimes you have to go through adversity to win trophies, and Spurs need to find a way to win this game, but I really fucking desperately hope this doesn't go to penalties. So it's Werner, Madison, and Dragusin who came off. So Spence, I guess, is playing centre half? Yeah. Son in the box now. And Reggie's outside him. Oh, and the keeper has to make a save from Reggie's cross. Now Tamworth on the break. Kulisevsky plays it down the line to Johnson, who's still on the pitch. He tries to cut it back towards Solanke, but the defender does well. And Tamworth clearing it out. And the Spurs fans making themselves known. Spurs have more creativity on the pitch now, I think it's fair to say. Oh, lovely throw into Kulisevsky, and that's good defending off for a throw-in, for a corner, sorry. Oh, we've all learned something today. I've learned that this third round doesn't anymore go to replay and extra time. It doesn't go to replay. Pedro Porro with the corner. It's going to be an outswinger. Got a bit more height in there now as well with Solanke. Gray making a run to the front stick. Here comes the outswinger. Oh, tried to flick on there from Johnson, but it goes back now to Porro. Gets the cross in. Oh, just defended at the near post well. And Porro does well to get it back to Bissouma. Plays a good ball into the inside right channel. Into Bergvall now, who tries to cut it back, but well defended again. You've got to give credit to Tamworth. They have defended well today. Jed Spence now on the ball. Plays a good knock down the line to Porro. Gets an early cross in. Oh, it's just over Solanke's head, but at least we can get crosses in now knowing that there's an option there. 94th minute. Tottenham with another corner from Sonny. Flicked on, comes all the way across the box to the corner. And Tamworth are able to clear it. And here comes the long clearance. Oof. Spence gets it back to Kinski, who brings it around to Reguilon. Gives it inside to Bissouma, who goes back to Reguilon. To Bissouma now. It tries the big long diag. Johnson heads it on beautifully. It wasn't Johnson, sorry, because it was headed on towards Johnson. That was a good header. It must have been Porro, maybe. Anyway, Tamworth are able to clear it for a throw. Oh, no, it doesn't quite go off to a throw. Decky keeps it on. Oh, and he tries the back heel, Decky, but doesn't quite find a Spurs player. And Tamworth in a tight space here, but are strong in the 50-15. Keep the ball. Now Tamworth go for the big clearance. It bounces high. Bissouma is able to bring it down. and finds Reguilon. He plays it beautifully over the top to Son, whose touch is poor. That's a pass back. Oh, the referee has absolutely bottled that. Anyway, here comes the long kick from Tamworth over the top. Oh, and Spurs let that bounce. And Gray does well to head it back to Kinski. Throws it out straight away to Jed Spence. Got Bergvall ahead of him, but Bergvall runs further away. Give him more options. Oh, dearie me. Porro, is it? And they're in down the channel here. Archie Gray has to deal with it. He goes back to Kinski, who very calmly finds Reguilon. To the 98th minute now. Reguilon trying the big diag again. That's a good ball. Finds Johnson. He crosses it, but he's got to get his head up to see that there's nobody there. And it's cleared. Oh, and Spurs didn't get hold of that clearance at all. And it goes off for a Tamworth throwing off Sergio Reguilon. Lots of Arsenal fans in the comments, apparently. You'd expect nothing less, I guess. Tamworth with the throw. Tottenham Hotspur, man, honestly. Here it comes, long one down the pitch. Reguilon wins the first one, and two Tamworth players go up together. Oh. And that is a throw into Spurs. Tottenham allowing Tamworth to make this bitty so far. This first half of extra time. We spent the whole game playing it into Tamworth's hands. And Deki Kulusevski is knocked off the ball outside the box. And Bergvall used his strength, but I thought it was a foul, I have to say. He finds Johnson. I'm really surprised that the ref didn't give that one, but there you go. And we got lucky there. Now Spurs again kind of slow it down when we get our foot on it. Bergvall in central midfield again tries the big diag. We can't help but feel that that's meat and drink, really, for a team like Tamworth. Tell you what, Bergvall, we're very lucky there because Bergvall could easily have given away that foul, and it's just outside the Spurs box. Anyway, Tamworth go long, and they win it up in the final third on the left. And their sub now driving at Porro. Gets the cross in. Comes to the far post. Tamworth knocking it about. Yes, playing some good stuff there. But Bissouma did well. Finds Sonny, who's now breaking through midfield. Oh, and the Tamworth players tried to take him out of the ball. And Son is fouled. Tried to slip it into Johnson and he was fouled, and it was a foul. This shows where the commentary script comes in, because they're asking what's the difference between that and Bergvall's. Well, Sonny's running at 100, like his full pace, and he's just taken out. 5 minutes of the first period of extra time to go. Porro is going to have a dig from this, and I'm not sure he should. It looks too far out for me. But if he sticks in the top bin, then I'll be absolutely ecstatic. Here comes Porro. Oh, he plays a lovely ball to Johnson. Spurs have scored. And it's Solanke. Or it's an own goal, or it's Solanke. And I'll give Porro the credit for that. For the fake free kick. So he fakes the free kick, lays it into Johnson, who has the shot across. And in the end, it's an own goal. And I've never celebrated a goal least. I think really what happened is Tamworth are all expecting Porro to have the big old shot, and Porro used his brain and slipped it into Johnson, who's in the perfect area for Johnson. He tries to get his shot across, and it's blocked into the path of kind of Solanke, but bounces off the Tamworth player. Now, come on, Spurs. You've got players on the pitch now. Just keep the fucking football. And then first thing Reguilon does is just absolutely smash it into the air. Oh, and Tamworth are in down the left now. And Spence just uses his body. And the ball comes into Kinski's arms. Yeah, Spence just leaned into him. And the ball comes out to Sonny now, wide left. Comes back on it to the halfway line with Basuma, who's impressed me today, Basuma, by the way. You know, not a high grade of other options to be impressed by, but he's put in a shift and he's used his skill well. Spence, the new centre-back for Tottenham Hotspur, based on the last two games. Anyway, Bergvall now in central midfield. And Bergvall driving at them. Good lad. Good lad. Finds Sonny. Beautiful stuff from Bergvall. And he finds his way to the byline again, Bergvall. Comes away. Do you know what? There's something about Bergvall's passing as well. There's a zip on it that you can really tell what a good player he is. She just then gets out-muscled in the corner flag. He tries to do a back heel. But yeah, Bergvall drove through midfield there and then just put a lovely bit of zip on the pass into Son. Like real top level, like, I know you're good enough to deal with that. Anyway, it is Tamworth 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Just about. I've only just learnt the rules of the FA Cup third round and how there aren't replays anymore. So there you go. Oh, Solanke wins the ball well on the left-hand side, finds Son. He goes inside to Basuma. He goes outside to Johnson. He's got Porro outside him. Finds Porro, but doesn't find Porro. Poor ball from Johnson. It's a throw into Spurs. Just Spence lent on him. You never ever get a. Don't get anything for those. The difficult thing is the player unfortunately collided with one of those kind of temporary advertising boards that they've got because they managed to sell so much advertising for this game. Oh, Spurs throw it quickly to Decky in the box, and it's tackled for a Tottenham corner. Just to remember, guys, Chris Cowlin will be here with the Spurs Chat podcast from 4 o'clock. And between the end of this game and that, I will be talking to Spurs fans from around the world. 105th minute now, so about to have half time and extra time. I wouldn't mind Spurs scoring a second just to chill everyone out. Here comes the out-swinging corner from Porro. Easily cleared by Tamworth. Comes to Bergvall outside the box, who uses his strength well. Heads it to Porro. Tries the inside ball. And comes to Basuma. Lays it to Reguilon. Gets it out wide to Sonny. Sonny gets to the byline. Whacks it to the back post. But Basuma picks it up. Kulusevski now outside the box. Reguilon. Sonny again now on the left, and he's going to go to the byline again, is he? And he does. Cuts it back this time. Solanke, chance. Oh, it's Johnson, sorry. Blocked. Basuma turns away, and he's in down the left here, Basuma. Sonny to Johnson. Back to Sonny. Spurs playing well across around the box there until Sonny loses it. Yeah, Johnson had the shot blocked there. I think he could have hit it earlier as well. And then Bergvall gives away the free kick. We're into the 106th minute. 4,000 of you watching. Really appreciate your support, guys. Make sure you press like. Make sure you subscribe to Chris Cowlin's channel at Chris Cowlin. Oh, I'll tell you what, Tamworth flick one on from the free kick there. And then a bad touch from Bergvall. And they're in down the left here, Tamworth. But well defended by Porro. And that's half time and extra time. Yeah, make sure you give Chris Cowlin's channel a subscribe for daily, lots of daily Tottenham content at Chris Cowlin. And then also give my channel a subscribe if you want more absolute ball knowledge, such as me not knowing that the FA Cup third round doesn't have replays anymore. But if you like transfer videos, come to @Barnaby Slater _ on YouTube. Give me a little subscribe there. I'm nearly at 15,000 subscribers. After this game, I will do a post-match reaction video. Then I will briefly talk to some Spurs fans from around the world. And then at about 4 o'clock, Chris will be on his channel with the Spurs Chat podcast. And today on his show, he will also have Harry Scarf, Brian Daigle, and Adrian Tisato. And then the FA Cup fourth round draw, be at 5 o'clock p.m. And as it stands, just about, Spurs will somehow be in that, even though it's been a very abject kind of one-note performance. Players who can kind of, I think, stand their heads up tall today. I think Kinski, the keeper's been great. I think Bissouma's played well. I think Archie Gray did fine, did well. Dragishin's been okay. Madder's always looking to get on the ball when he was playing. And Bergvall, I think, has looked good since he's come on. That's kind of all I have to say about that. They're not supposed to have a halftime break here, but they're all getting around the huddle, the Tamworth players with the manager. And yeah, we need to get a second one, to be honest, Spurs, because otherwise, they do get the ball into the box, Tamworth. And you just never know, because in the last 30 seconds of the 90 minutes, Tamworth probably should have scored a goal that would have knocked Tottenham Hotspur out of the FA Cup against a non-league team, and what would probably have been the biggest upset in the history of FA Cup football. And that's how close that all was. Just getting in the comments a little bit, guys. Zero Coke, wow, one of those amazing Ange ball forever, ha ha ha. Abalash says, I want to add something, Barnaby. Players are finding it hard to read the ball the whole game. The home team is used to it. The turf is playing its part. I'm sure Ange will point that out. Yeah, I'm sure. Gardu says, there's no chance Bergvall is better than Madders. They're complementary players, different feeling on the ball, working together. They'll be an exceptional duo. Yeah, I agree. I love them both equally. Anyway, the game has kicked off again with Sonny down the left. Bergvall's run outside him. Great run from Bergvall. He's running in now. He cuts it back towards Decky, but he didn't get enough on it, and the ball bobbled everywhere. And Tamworth are able to clear. Tamworth have the ball in central midfield now. Oh, Tamworth tried to play the ball out. Kulusevski picked it up, but unfortunately weren't able to deal with the second ball. And then Basuma is shoved off, and they're in here, and Kinski comes off his line amazingly. His ball isn't great, and then they go for the big shot over Kinski's head, and I think it's over the bar. Yeah, it is. But good clearance, good starting position from Kinski there. Yeah, Tottenham do have to be careful. Anyway, Archie Gray finds Jed Spence. Spence going for the big diag. That's a beautiful ball out to Sonny. Sonny finds Decky. He's going to have a shot. Scores. And that's class. That's class. So Jed Spence had the ball, centre half position, looks up, plays the big old diag, beautiful ball to Sonny. Sonny has the runner outside, inside him in Decky Kulusevski, slips it into him, and he just absolutely classily puts it in the bottom corner. One touch, bang, no chance keeper. That's class. And this might end up being kind of 4-0 here. And it would be very unfortunate on Tamworth if it was, but we needed that second goal. But that's where Decky shows that he is a cut above. 1 chance, 1 goal. And Tottenham will be in that 4th round draw. And that's all that matters. But yeah, not the greatest performance of all time, I think it's fair to say. But lovely stuff from Jed Spence. And Decky gives away a throw-in. A free kick in central midfield. And Tamworth will have an opportunity to get the ball in the box. So Tamworth are going to just dink it up towards the back of the box. Here it comes. Flicked on. And they're going to get a cross in here, Tamworth. It's cleared by Spurs and goes for a throw-in. Tamworth don't have their long throw option anymore. Certainly not the original one anyway. So they go short to their centre half. He's going to try and... Oh, tries to roll Bergvall. Isn't able to, and it comes to Reguilon. Oof. Nearly lost the ball, Reguilon. It's not. And they've got the ball still here. Basuma sees the through ball. They try and cuts it out and puts his foot on the ball. Then Spurs win a free kick off the ball. Yeah, it was a silly foul just given off the ball. And Reguilon's done okay. Never did I think I'd see him complete 90 minutes for Tottenham again, but he has done. And frankly, it's lucky we've got the body, isn't it? It's lucky we've got him in the club still. 110th minute now, 10 minutes to go. Spurs go long with the free kick. Haven't seen that much today. Solanke is beaten in the air. Reguilon wins a header. Tamworth win the next one. And then Jed Spence steps in. Heads it to Decky. And Bergvall tries to play a ball back to Decky, but doesn't find him. And Porro clears it. But now Tamworth have the ball back in Spurs' half. And they run it off the pitch. Let's have a look at some of the comments. Patrick Harper says, flash a smile, Barnaby. I'll give you a smirk. Gardu, I think this might be a bit too positive, mate. A managed performance. Not much about how Spurs played here was absolutely disastrous. It was managed. Players didn't want to get injured, obviously, and lightly managed their fuels. Yeah, you can say that, mate, but then you've had to play 30 minutes extra. Anyway, beautiful ball from Basuma. Lovely diagonal to Sonny, who's in now on the left, taking on his man. And doesn't beat him. It's just tackled, basically. But Bergvall wins it back beautifully in central midfield. Finds Decky Kulusevski. He's all over the pitch at the moment. Tries a little step over. Wants a run from Brennan. He didn't really give it to him. Brennan finds Lucas Bergvall. Looking for a little angle, but he finds Basuma inside him. Basuma out wide to Sonny. Puts his foot on it. Goes back to Reggie, back to Basuma. And Tottenham are just going to try and pop this around now, I think, for the next 10 minutes or so. Archie Gray finds Reguilon. He got it back to Spence, to Porro, and Reguilon comes, and he's got so much space. You can turn there, Sergio. Goes to Basuma. He brings it to Son, and Reguilon's made a run for him, and Son finds him. Needs the return ball, and Sonny doesn't get it off Reguilon, unfortunately. But he gets it now from the Tamworth player, and Sonny's in on the left-hand side. Goes to Reguilon, gives it back to Sonny, plays it into Decky, and Sonny didn't go for the return, unfortunately. And it goes through to the keeper. Oh, Tamworth with a chance here. They're outside the box. Oh, and it comes through to the left-hand side. That's a great save from Kinski down at his feet. Oh, down to his left, sorry. Kinski's been excellent today. Kinski. I'm telling you guys, Kinski looks unflappable, man. I'm not sure that Vicario is going to get his place back. Let me know what you think in the comments. Tamworth bring the ball out. 112 minutes gone. Tamworth play the big crossfield ball now, but Porro's got that. So Porro's played so many minutes this season. Yeah, he didn't need another 120 minutes. Got a feel if you're Alfie Dorrington as well, haven't you? Doesn't even get in ahead of Jed Spence at centre half these days. But here's Bissouma's done well in midfield. He's kind of pushed off the ball though. And Slater on, and Spence comes in, and Bergvall comes in. Bergvall is in the end the one who gets the ball. And Archie Gray plays a big old diag towards Sonny. And in the end, it's the defender who gets it straight to Sonny. Sonny's touch on this pitch isn't great at the moment, but he's still on it. Gives it back to Bergvall. Oh, and gets it back, Sonny, from Region. He's at the byline now. Oh, beautiful turn from Son. And then a terrible pass to... attempted to get it back to Slanky, but it was telegraphed. Beautiful drop of the shoulder from Son. Got him to the byline. Decky now outside the box. Plays it towards Slanky. Turns onto his left. Can he get a shot away, Dom? No, he's blocked off, and that won't be a foul. Hollis, the centre-back, who's had a good game. Yeah, and Ali McCoy's just saying the same thing, saying I think he's been terrific. Good win there from Jed Spence, and a little back heel from Bissouma gets it to Bergvall in central midfield. We find Spence again. Archie Gray now running with the ball into midfield. Oh, beautiful from Archie Gray. What a Rolls Royce he is. And he finds Sonny on the left. Might want to cut in here. Sonny, no, he goes to the byline and cuts it back. And it's clear. That was good football from Spurs. Bissouma under some pressure. Goes to Spence. Has Porro with him. He had Bissouma inside him, but he didn't go for it. And Spence is now under pressure, but does well under the high ball. Finds Archie Gray, who has Bergvall outside him. Kulusevski is on the right-hand side now, and he goes inside to Bergvall. They've got a good understanding together, Bergvall and Kulusevski. And Bergvall finds Johnson, but there's just too much on it, but good idea. Just 4 minutes left now, and Spurs are going to be in the next round. Tamworth playing the ball out now. Solanke pressing and chasing back, but I would save your legs, Dom. Save your legs. Playing some good stuff down the left here, Tamworth. Oh, just as I say that, they nearly lose the ball to Porro. And that's a throw into Tottenham Hotspur. And now it's Tottenham taking their time over the ball. Not unexpected. Porro with the throw. Slanky tries to play it down the line, and Tamworth kick it all the way back to their keeper into the last 3.5 minutes of the game, and the keeper goes long. Oh, Porro out jumped, and they're in down the left here now, Tamworth. Stay up. Oh, stand up. Oh, they get a cross in though, and that's brilliant defending at the near post from Archie Gray, actually. And then Spence puts his foot on the ball twice. And gives it to Bissouma. Porro, who gives it back to Bissouma, who turns. He's under pressure. Tries the black heel to Jed Spence on Tottenham. Oh, Tottenham, the football here. If they would score from this, it would be one of the most ridiculous goals of all time. As Jed Spence continues his run, and he's out wide right now, and he tries the early cross. And Spurs have a chance, and it's a goal. Brennan Johnson. I mean, it's almost a beautiful goal, but there was a defensive block on the cross. It's a good finish from Johnson. amazing football in the from back to front from Spurs. Spence's cross was blocked out, and then a Tamworth player just loses it on the edge of the box, and they're very fatigued now, Tamworth. I said it a few minutes ago when we got the second that it could be kind of 4-0, couldn't it? But that's the thing in games like this. If something like that happens early in the game, then the whole game is absolutely calm and everything's fine. But it's almost like you're waiting for the fatigue to properly set in. And now it has. And as a result, Spurs are 3-0 up. And it's into the last minute now. But it was a good, brave on the ball football from Spurs in the kind of right back position between Porro and Spence. I think Basuma was down there as well. Spence is great. So calm on the ball. Now Kulusevski breaking again through the middle. He's got Brennan Johnson with him. He gives it to Johnson, who tries to go inside but loses the ball. Bergvall still getting involved. Ball just put in behind Porro, who gives it to Kinski, puts his foot on it. And it's just his play with his feet, Kinski. So much better than anything we've got on the books. Bergvall plays a nice ball. We're into the last minute of the game now. Plays it to Basuma. Johnson finds Kulusevski running into the box. Kulusevski with the early cross. Thought it was going to drop to Solanke, but it didn't. Tamworth are able to clear it. Yeah, he's given Ali McCoy's given the man of the match to the Hollis, the centre half. Not a huge surprise, I have to say. And we've got about 10 seconds left of the game. And then I'll do a quick instant match reaction. Then I'll get talking to some of you guys from around the world. We've got about 45 minutes until then Chris Callan will start the Spurs Chat podcast. And that is the end of the game. Hello, everyone. This is my instant match reaction after the Tamworth 0, Tottenham Hotspur 3 FA Cup third round game. I'll be honest, at times it was like pulling teeth. Tamworth took Tottenham to extra time. And I have to admit, hands up, I was doing a watch along and I didn't even realize that there would be extra time. I thought that Spurs had managed to find a way to only get a replay. But we didn't. It went to extra time and Spurs in that extra time managed to get 3 goals. Tamworth basically fatigued, lost their legs, and feel for them because actually back in the day in the FA Cup third round until very recently, they would have got a replay and it would have been a huge money spinner for them. And I feel for them because they worked incredibly hard. And frankly, last kick of the 6 minutes added time of the 90 minutes, they should have won the game, Tamworth. They had real chances. One that was blocked by Basuma at the near post and then a follow-up from a corner. And the guy makes Kinski make a real save. I'm going to try and start this match reaction with a positive. I genuinely think in Antonin Tony Kinski, Tottenham Hotspur found a goalkeeper who adds about 20. I said it after the Liverpool game. He adds about 25% to our game. He's brilliant with the ball at his feet. So in case you didn't watch the game, Tamworth's big weapon was this guy who has a huge long throw. And so from early in the game, they were throwing it long from everywhere. And Kinski was just claiming everything. He was claiming free kicks and set pieces as well. And then when the ball comes to him at his feet, he's so composed and so calm. And I just think he is a truly excellent young keeper. It's all really exciting with him. But other than that, I have to say, it's all about Tamworth. They were excellent. Tottenham were very one-note, kind of, I think, throughout the game, really just expecting that Tamworth would fatigue and Spurs would score. We only made, I think, 2 chances for me in the 90 minutes. Both fell to Timo Werner, who somehow was still on the pitch when Mikey Moore was in the beginning kind of 25 minutes anyway of the second half. Mikey Moore was the best player on the park for Spurs for me. And I thought, when Ange went to make the substitutions, which I think were about 65 minutes, I was begging him, don't take off Mikey Moore. Please take off Timo Werner. And he didn't. And Werner then, the two best chances fell for him. And sure, you might say his pace helped him get in behind the fullback, but he didn't put them away. And that is why it ended up going to extra time. I'll quickly go through what happened in the game. Not a huge amount, to be honest, certainly not in the first half. Tamworth came out the block strongly and made Kinski make a save, tipping it over in the first minute. They started the game well, first 5 minutes, Tamworth. Good stuff from Mikey Moore on the 7th minute on the left-hand side. Found Madders, who had a shot, but it was headed over the bar. Tamworth then hit the post in the 13th minute, but it was a foul called against Kinski from the long throw. And it was kind of like the long throw went all the way through for that hit the post. Good football from Spurs through midfield in the 15th minute led to a left foot shot over the bar from James Maddison. 17th minute shot from Tamworth, well blocked by Archie Gray. Archie Gray actually is certainly a player who can hold his head up high. Just a wonderful, wonderful player. He's not a centre-half by trade, but maybe he will end up being a centre-half. He reads the game so well. So well. And there was this amazing moment in extra time, actually, where he was just like, fine, I'm going to do it all myself, and drove forward about 80 yards before finding Son on the left. Unfortunately, we didn't score from it, but what a player he is. 22nd minute, Werner pass, tried to find Madders in on goal, but he just put too much in on it. 31st minute, probably the best bit of the half from Maddison. Nutmegged their player outside the box, then just shaped it into the far corner, tipped round the post. Made that note, 35th minute, Kinski again claimed another corner. He's been great. Madders in the box in the 37th minute, tried to pass it into the far corner, but was easily saved. The ball was kind of caught under his feet a little bit. And then just a note in the 43rd minute that I felt Tamworth was stronger in all the 50-50s. And maybe you can understand that. That was the same throughout the game. They had less to lose, Tottenham players not wanting to get injured, etc. But as the game went on and it looked more and more like there could be an upset, Tottenham needed really to go harder into their 50-50s. And they didn't really do that. 48th minute, shot from Madders from a tight angle was well saved to the keeper's right. 54th minute, brilliant from Mikey Moore. Beat two men, got a good cross in. Timo Werner at the back stick actually did the right thing, headed it back across the goal, but they got a defender on the line, clearing it off the line. And then I made note in the 55th minute, Spurs trying to find more regularly now, and a shot over the bar from Porro. Then 58th minute, two shots from Tamworth in the box, both blocked by Dragusin and then Gray. And then Dragusin was kind of rugby tackled from a corner from their number 9. I think it was Creaney. They were having a big physical battle all game. They were both booked, actually, for that. And it looked like Dragusin's foot got caught underneath his body, and then he was taken off just before extra time, Dragusin, for Jed Spence. And I wonder if that is like a secondary ankle injury for him. 64th minute, Werner missed that one-on-one. Johnson with a brilliant through ball for that. And then just 1 minute later, Werner had the second best chance, a volley in the box from about 8 yards out, and it was blocked off the line. It came from good stuff on the left between Madders and Reguilon. Reguilon, who played a whole 120 minutes for Spurs. Who would have thought that happened? 66th minute, Tamworth nearly scored from a corner. It went just wide. Kinski, to be fair, didn't look fussed about it. Bergvall and Slanky then came on for Saar and Moore. 70th minute, Spurs were in down the left with Reguilon. A good cross. Johnson should maybe have scored on the volley. Just hit the side netting. 74th minute, Basuma clearance in our own box. It hit Tonks on his knee and it nearly went over Kinski. He was in a good position to catch it though. Porro then got booked. 78th minute, Porro whacked it across the box from the byline. Deserved a bit of luck to go in off a Tamworth defender or something. Didn't get that luck, but I made a note. Tamworth looked fatigued now. 78th minute, more space and tempo for Spurs. Then nothing really until the 89th minute when Werner could have been in on the left, but he really pussied out of a 50-50. I've written here, joke player, I'm afraid. He really wasn't strong enough there. And then that's in the 6th added minute of extra time, Basuma's block, and then Kinski making an absolutely vital save that stopped Spurs from being probably the biggest upset in the history of FA Cup football. If we'd conceded then, we would have been out of the FA Cup to Tamworth. So it went to extra time and he brought on the big guns. Sonny, Decky and Spence came on for Madders, Werner and Dragusin. The goalkeeper made a save from a Reguilon cross shot in the 92nd minute. Then in the 100th minute, Porro scored the goal. He faked a free kick, looked like he was going to have a long shot, passed it into Brennan Johnson, who had a shot that was kind of blocked. It came into Solanke in the middle of the goal. He got very little on it, but it hit the defender. And it was an own goal. Then 105th minute shot from Johnson blocked. 106th minute, a good starting position from Kinski. Got to a through ball from Tamworth that could have caused trouble. 106th minute, the second goal, Deki Kulusevski, beautiful crossfield ball from Spence to Son. He slipped in Kulusevski, one touch, and then on his left foot into the bottom right-hand corner. 112th minute, another important Kinski save to his left. That would have been a bad time to concede a goal. And then the third goal, and the goal that made it 3-0. Brennan Johnson, 117th minute. Amazing football from back to front, down from the right back position between Bissouma and Porro and Spence. And then Spence made a run, got forward, got a cross in. It was blocked out by the Tamworth defender. And then just another Tamworth player on the edge of his own box was caught on the ball by, I think it was Kulusevski. And the ball came to Johnson eventually, and he puts it into the middle left-hand corner. And that was that. Tamworth 0, Tottenham Hotspur 3. And yes, look, you have to be in the cup. That's all you have to do. But you know, I was doing the watch along on Chris Cowlin's channel, loads of opposition fans getting into the comments, getting Arsenal fans in the chat. Just Tottenham again, kind of getting themselves in a position where it could have been really embarrassing. And I get it. I do. I get it. You just have to find a way to win these games. And in the end, we did. But you can't help but being just a bit like, oh, why always us? The old Mario Balotelli t-shirt. Why always us? But I guess the reality is it's important that we just got into the draw. And yeah, it was an interesting team selection from Ange. I thought he went a bit stronger than I would have expected. But I guess considering they were taken to extra time, even though he played players like Dragusin and Porro, maybe it would have been too dangerous to play the likes of an Alfie Dorrington to start that game. So, look, that's it. We're in the cup. We're in the 4th round. We haven't got past the 5th round for the last few seasons. We seem to always go out in the 5th round to a low league opposition. So we just found our way through it. Let's get into that 4th round, see who we draw this afternoon, and allow ourselves to enjoy some of the other games. I think it's, Arsenal, Man United coming up. And just, thank the Lord we're through to the next round. I was asked during the watch along to give a smile. I'll give a smirk. We're through, but I can't really give a smile on that performance. I will add this actually just before I go. The pitch, the 3G or 4G pitch that Tamworth have, very bobbly. They didn't water it, and I think that helped Tamworth, who were obviously just playing a very long ball game, and Spurs trying to play their game on the floor. So that was another reason why Tottenham weren't able to play their kind of usual attacking Ange ball game. And like I said, we're through, so that's all that matters. That's been my instant match reaction to the Tamworth 0, Tottenham Hotspur 3 game. Make sure you give this video a like. Please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. Getting closer to 15,000 subscribers. And of course, one of the most important things, I think, with Arsenal coming up at the Emirates on Wednesday night, basically our most difficult and most horrible game of the season, didn't seem to be any injuries. The only slight danger is maybe a Dragusin ankle roll. Let's see what happens with that. And roll on the Emirates at the weekend. 2 wins in a row for Spurs. And roll on the Emirates. Maybe we can get a surprise win against Set Piece FC. Thanks again, guys. Come on, you Spurs. Okay, guys, back on Chris's channel, or solely on Chris's channel. I'm now going to be talking to some of the Spurs fans from around the world. Let me get my headphones before I start this and do a little bit of technical jiggery pokery. I'll be talking to Spurs fans from around the world who'll tell me how they feel about that victory. A victory that was only really a victory in the end, wasn't it? It doesn't really even feel like a victory, but that is what happens. And let's get started with my first guest today. And hello, Melvin, all the way from Malta. Melvin, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Top man. Thanks for being patient, mate. It's been a bit of a long day. And actually, we've only got about 35 minutes left, so I'm going to have to be quick with all of the guests. But what are your thoughts on the game today overall, Melvin?
Yeah, the performance was always going to be like that, wasn't it? A weird pitch, a lower league side that they're going to come to frustrate and try to score with their, really good throw-in set piece. And to be fair, we dealt with it quite well. It wasn't really a major issue. To get to extra time, you have to sort of be disappointed for them, because imagine they got a replay at our stadium. Yeah. The finances that they would have received to be able to play at such a stadium, you kind of, in a way, feel sorry for them, because if I was a player for Tamworth, I'd be like, I would have loved to play at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But, we got the win. We're in the cup still. We're still in all competitions. We did manage to rest some players, disappointed with some of the performances. Our attacking line is, really blunt when you take out, some key players. I was disappointed with Timo, especially a player of his experience versus Tamworth. He should be doing better. With even Johnson, I thought Johnson wasn't very effective in the first half, second half. Mikey Moore still young, coming back from injury, still finding his feet. You expect a bit
Melvin,
more from...
sorry to interrupt, but were you surprised when he took off Mikey Moore rather than Werner?
Maybe, but at the same time, it's his first 60 minutes since coming back from injury. Timo match fit, give him 90 minutes, take the load off of Heung-min Son. The positives is we rested some key players, and which needed a rest. Kulusevski was one of them. Yeah, but they didn't play. I think Tamworth tired, and when they come in and they found space, and once we got the first one, all of a sudden key areas in the pitch started to open up, and we got the second and third quickly, and the game was over. And still good to be in the cup. We'll see who we draw. I'd love to get a home draw, regardless of who the opposition is. I think playing at home in our stadium is a massive advantage. I'm excited for the upcoming fixtures. The next 2 games are absolutely massive. Could absolutely make a world of a difference to our season. And this is one of those games where I don't think I even celebrated any of the goals, Barnaby. I wasn't watching your stream. Just when the goal went in, I literally, my expression didn't even change. It was like, you know what I mean? We're playing Tamworth away in the FA Cup, a team we should be winning quite easily. For them to get to extra time, I think it's a respectable scoreline for them. I'm sure they're proud of their players. I don't know if any of the Tamworth fans, watched this stream or tuned in or commented or anything like that. I think they had some. They should be proud of their performance and their team, and to play a team like Spurs, like Tottenham Hotspur, I'm sure they'll remember this one for a while.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm just going to ask you one more question before I let you go. Obviously, we're in the January window, and I'm thinking more and more as I watch Spurs at the moment that Brennan Johnson, for me, is like almost the perfect player to bring off the bench when teams are stretched. And it's clear from a lot of the reports we're hearing that Tottenham are looking for someone to play across that forward line. Do you think it's likely we'll get that kind of business done this January? Ange has been pretty honest about needing something.
I hope so. I mean, the club's been consistently spending money in January. I think we're in a strong financial position, and we don't have any FFP troubles. We seem to have the money. We bought Pedro Porro, Dragozin, Kulusevski, Bentancur. These are all January signings. Bergvall was a January signing. We keep consistently being active in January, which is something I like. We buy the player 6 months before the summer. They have time to settle in, and then they can really affect the season, when it starts in August. I really like January signings.
So you hope so?
I hope so. I think the goalkeeper was a great signing. Credit to the board, credit to Daniel Levy, credit to whoever, the scouting department. Again, another game he was highly influential in, and we just need to do the same for the right or left wing. We need cover. We need a starter, Barnaby. I think we need to upgrade on Johnson. Johnson's still a young player who has lots of potential, but we need one for the now. We need, like we did with Solanke, spend 50-60 million on a player that improves us immediately. It's what we need.
I agree. Melvin, thank you so much for calling in, mate. Thanks for being part of the show, and hopefully speak to you soon. Cheers, mate.
All the best.
Top man. That was Melvin over in Malta. Just a little message to John, the UK John, Jon. Are you there? Because I can see you're on, but there's no camera. Okay, so John is there. So next up is John. John, tell me, what are your thoughts after that game? It was a close one.
Yeah, well, firstly, full credit to Tamworth, I think. Really, really good. They set themselves up well and made it difficult for us. But that said, we can always, when we have difficulties in games previously, if we've lost or what have you, then we blame the manager, we blame his tactics, we blame the chairman, we blame everything else. Players, mentality, massively stood out today. The mentality of quite a few of our players.
Did you, John, feel like they were just trying not to get injured, basically?
I get, there's some of that. There's some of that. I think there's some of the attitude is like, oh, I shouldn't really be playing in this. I shouldn't be. I've got Arsenal on Wednesday. Why is he putting me in? I shouldn't really be. And I'm sorry, but tough. You're representing the club. You need to show a lot more than that.
Are you willing to name any names, John, in particular?
I thought Pedro Porro. I don't. Brendan Johnson. I don't. The first half, the front three were appalling. I thought they were really bad. Second half, Mikey Moore showed more creativity, took players on. We took him off. Timo Werner. Yeah, look, the kid doesn't like scoring, does he? I think we've done. I appreciate we've got a lot of injuries. I understand that and see why we're probably keeping him around. Having said that, it doesn't offer anything. It doesn't offer anything at all. And it takes a Kulusevski to come on, Son to come on. I mean, Solanke wasn't the greatest when he came on either, but there was a presence up there when he was. So it's taken that to get over the line. I think there's just there's a mentality issue with this club, and there has been for years. That's my biggest bugbear with it.
Ange's kind of admitted that himself. He's trying to change that. Did you get any sense that it can change?
Yeah. I mean, like today, to fair play to him. I mean, he's respected the cup, put out a strong team. Okay, he could have gone with under 23s team, for example. He hasn't. He's gone with a strong team. He's respected it. He embraced it. He embraced the banter he was getting and all of that sort of stuff, and immersed himself in it, which was good. I remember Ben Davis made a point once before when we play like domestic cups or in Europa League or anything like that. There was almost like a sort of two-team mentality. It's like, well, I know I'm not going to play in the big league games. I'm just going to play in this, and automatically. Whereas take Ben Davis as an example, he's professional both, so it doesn't really impact him so much. But there are others where the attitude is poor, and how do we address that? How do we cope with that? I'll stick with Ange, stick with what he's trying to do. But the players have got to take responsibility for it. We were unlucky. We were lucky not to go out. To be fair,
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And that I have to say, I don't know how you feel, John, but I think if they'd scored that goal in the last kick of the 96 minutes, I don't know whether Ange would have survived that.
No, he'd have been the scapegoat for it. He'd have been the fall guy, and would have just repeat Ryan Mason until the end of the season, and it would have just petered out. So, fortunately,
John,
that didn't happen.
Yeah, let's try and end this on a positive. We've got obviously the Emirates on Wednesday night. Can we cause a shock? What do you think?
I'm not too confident about it, but then again, I wasn't confident going into Liverpool last Wednesday, given the team that they had out and what we had out as well, and we played very, very well. Credit where credit's due. The attitude was good. We're a little bit more pragmatic. Can we go to Arsenal and get a result? Well, history will say no. We tend to roll over there. Again, it's the mentality issue. We play the club, not the team. Yeah. Just go and just give it everything you've got. Just give it absolutely everything you've got, and put on a real performance. And let's see what comes. Let's see what comes of it. Let's see what happens. You never know.
Tell you what, I feel a lot more confident against set piece FC with Kinski than I did.
Brilliant.
Forster.
Really good. What a good find. Fair play to the recruitment team. What a really good find. His handling was brilliant. Coming for crosses, which, to be fair, I don't think we've seen probably even before Lloris, because he was quite a line goalkeeper as well. Yeah. So him just coming out, talking to, demanding, organising the back line. There was that instant just in the second half, wasn't it, when the ball came back to him, played it out, and that fell out a shot from about 60 yards. But it wasn't Kinski's fault. It was the defender wasn't top of him, and he pointed that out. It was just good. He pointed it out to him. Whereas I don't know if Vicario has done that, and Forster certainly hasn't done that. So it's good. It's concentrating their minds a little bit more. But
all right, John. Listen, thanks so much for being part of the show. I'm gonna have to let you go, but let's talk after another game. Top man.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Bye. Okay, let's next go to all the way to another John. I've gone from John to John. John, hello. How are you doing, John? And how did you feel about that game?
You. Yeah, all good.
What are your thoughts on that game?
It was a hard watch. Unless you get an early goal in them sort of games, you're giving them more belief the longer the game goes on. I said to my daughter, the way it was going, last 20 minutes, the fitness should kick in. I expected us to win, get a couple of goals, 70th, 80th minute, and win the game there and then. But I mean, to be honest, a lot of the players, they would have preferred for us to have been away to Blackburn or Watford than playing against Tamworth.
Of course.
And I think I've said before, I still play football now in a vet league, and you know, I know we're professional players, millionaires, and everything else, but them 3G pitches like that are a nightmare when you're playing on grass week in and week out. To be honest, I don't know how they get away with it with regards to playing in their league, because every home game is a massive advantage to them because they play on it every week, whereas the other teams play on it once a season.
Well, presumably quite a few teams in their league probably have them, I would have thought.
Yeah, maybe. But, you know, that is a bit of a leveller, having a pitch like that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, before the game, I said we'll win 5-0. You know, player for player, we should do. But it wasn't totally unexpected for me. And any neutral watching that would have, you know, prayed that Tamworth had scored. And I played in semi-pro football, and a part of me would have been so happy for them knowing how that must feel. I mean, they're playing on adrenaline for an hour.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest game of their lives. I noticed the goalkeeper's shirt was specially made for the game, Tamworth v Tottenham FA Cup with a date on. You know, they're going to keep all them tops. And you know, when they're kids or grandkids, yeah, Daddy was an electrician, but he played against Tottenham Hotspur once.
Yeah.
You know, and
huge.
When you're playing against a professional team like that, you want to show how good you are as an individual. So, you know, if I was playing and I was playing Markin Madison, my job would be to show him that I can play and he's up against it, sort of thing. And yeah, like I say, you know, little pitch like that, little ground with the adrenaline they're getting from the fans and the fact that their biggest game of their career, probably ever, will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we got the result done. They could have won it in the last 5 minutes, but you know, you look at the score, 3-0. We go, yeah, next round. Like
John, just before I let you leave, just because I've got loads of people to talk to, who did impress you for Spurs today? Is there who couldn't hold their heads up high for you?
To be honest, hardly anyone in you know, sort of impressed me. Archie Gray had his normal, really, really good game, but none of the others really. Madison in bits and pieces. But yeah, I thought Spence done well when he come on. But yeah, none of them were sort of at it. But like I said, I'm pretty sure everyone to a man would have rather we'd have played a much better team, a professional team away than you're on a hide into nothing when you go to places like that. It's you just have to get the job done. And we were a little bit lucky last 5 minutes, but at the end of the day, we're in the next round. And you know, we continue. And one last thing, I know I've got to go. But I still think if they had won it in the last 5, I still honestly think Ange would have still been safe. I really do. I
wouldn't have wanted Ange to be sacked, but I think the clamour from social media would have been.
Yeah. Oh, I said to my daughter, I am dreading it. I'll have to turn my phone off if we'd have lost today with all the messages and everything I'd have got from everyone else. I wouldn't have wanted to look for a week. Yeah. But anyway, I'll let you go. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thanks for being part of the show, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Bye.
Okay, and next we're going to go all the way to America with Simon, who's been very patient. Simon, can you hear me? How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yes, very well. What are your thoughts on today's 3-0 victory?
Well, I mean, if we would have lost, that probably would have been different. But you know, since we won, it was fun. It was kind of cool. A little bit of a hot mess at the beginning with the whole net situation, and then seeing the player coming out with his child. I mean, it was cool. It was cool, you know.
You sound much more chill about it than I was, Simon.
Well, you know, I got my drink, so I'm good.
Top man. And Simon, obviously, you know, we've got Arsenal coming up on Wednesday night. You expect to be a little less chill about things in that game?
Well, I mean, I think our whole season has just been a lot of stop and go, really inconsistent. And at least, you know, now we got 2 wins in a row. So I'm in the positive camp, you know. So at the end of the day, it's still my club, and you know, good times, bad times, I'm always gonna stick behind them. So yeah, you know, I'm always gonna go into every game expecting a win from us. So, you know, let's go.
Oh, man. Listen, so it's the January transfer window. Do you think Spurs will make some more signings? And if so, where do you think we really need to invest?
Well, I mean, that's one of those things, you know, I do consume quite a bit of like Spurs content. So I mean, it seems like we're all over the place with everything. But I really like the manager. I really like the how things been going with the new direction of data analysts and all of that stuff. I feel like a lot of our signings have turned out really nice and well. So whatever they do, I'm gonna support them. But I feel like, yeah, especially like today, we had a ton of possession, but no cutting edge in the end. So yeah, a couple of good attackers. It's like, hey, I'll take some more goals.
Top man. Listen, Simon, thanks so much for being a part of the show today, mate. And let's talk after another game. Hopefully, maybe even on Wednesday night, and we'll have turned over Arsenal.
Hey, man, first time. Thanks for having me. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Top man. Okay, let's go back to the UK, and I'm going to talk to Connor. Connor, you've been very patient, mate. How are you feeling after that FA Cup win?
Well, it's more of a bittersweet feeling for me because you never want to complain after a win, but after watching that, I feel like it's very telling issues we've had with squad depth, and that's been a thing for years because whenever we play teams a lot lower down than us, even teams higher up than Tamworth in the EFL, we always struggle. We always have to sub on, the big boys to actually get a result.
Is there an argument, Connor, for you that we should start with all the big boys and then sub them off if we've then got, ahead enough early, or not?
No, I'm still someone who wants to see the second team play, but I just feel like we need to actually go out and sign the right players instead of just, this player's available, let's get them, even though they won't suit the system and all that sort of stuff. For example, I'd say Dragusin, who's, he could be a good player in another sort of side, but definitely not for us.
Yeah, that's $1 million question then, Connor. Who are the right players? Who are the players that we need to buy to improve, especially in my opinion, our forward line?
It's tough. Well, we was linked with Kolo Muani, but I'm not sure whether we'll actually get him or not now.
Do you rate him as a player? Do you think if Spurs are able to get that over the line, he'd be an improvement on Sonny at the moment and Brennan Johnson?
I think Kolo Muani's better than what we've got right now in terms of Werner and an aging Son, because Son's definitely not been at the races for a while now.
Okay. And obviously looking ahead, we've got Arsenal on Wednesday night. How are you feeling about that one?
I'm always up for Arsenal. I always enjoy the North London derby. Even if you draw, I don't know. Just for me, I always enjoy the game. And I always
a draw would be lovely.
I always get pumped up for that game. So I don't know. I feel like I always have my bias goggles on whenever I watch Arsenal.
Yeah, of course. And just finally, before I let you go, Connor, obviously, it was a difficult game today. But where did you see in terms of Spurs players, positives, players who can hold their heads up high after their performances today?
Definitely Archie Gray, but he's been able to hold his head up high, ever since he's been forced into the team. All of the subs, they come on and they affected the game just as you would expect they would anyway. And then maybe I'd also say Regulon, because he doesn't get to play. It's a big day for him, regardless of the opposition. He gets a full 120 minutes and.
Mm-hmm.
I can't fault him for his dedication to the club, even when he's out of favour.
Top man, Connor, thanks so much for being part of the show. Let's speak again after another game. Top man.
Cool, thank you.
See you, mate. Okay, and next up, I'm going to go all the way to Brazil, and one of our regulars, G, mate. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing. Thank you, Barnaby. Thanks for the commentary again today, even though you didn't know there was an extra time.
You're an old man like me. How long has that been the case? For a couple of years?
No, you're absolutely right. No, I'm only joking with you, mate. I'm not trying to.
No. I mean, literally, how long has it actually been where there's not been extra time in the third round? Sorry, where there's not been a replay in the third round? Has it been like?
No, you're absolutely right. Sure. Yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know. But along with you, when I was surprised when I heard it myself, but I heard it before the actual game kicked off. So
yeah. Anyway, G, let me know
your feedback.
Tell me your thoughts on the game overall. Yeah, there's a bit of a bad connection. I'll tell you what, G. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away from you. Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on. Tell us how you feel overall about the game.
See if that happens. Overall, well, Kinski 2 for 0, so I'm happy about that. I'm happy they didn't score. Bobbly pitch, not the best pitch to play on. I thought it was a bit dangerous for some of our players, especially when we had our subs come on. It's obviously a situation we really did not want to do. I saw a tackle, see what happened to Dragishin. I saw it happen to Porro as well. You know they're going to get tired, these players, and they're going to put in tackles that are not really up to standard. So I thought the ref was... Again, I don't know where they're getting them from. That's overall like that. But I think more was pre-planned. I really do. I think he was told beforehand. I think that's why he gave more of a spurt on, in himself. He's a great player. Great today. Werner, I think he's found his level, really. And even then, he wasn't good at it, was he? I don't know what to say about the guy. It's just like, we know he's not going to be here anyway. He's just there because he's there, and we don't have anybody else around, really. Before the game, I thought 4-0 would have been the score, but I was thinking it would be the opposite way round. I thought we wouldn't need to put our players out. And even though we didn't have much of a front line at all, really, to play. Spence, though, again, I know it's against his team, but he really showed... I don't know, it was in the way he played, it was like, yeah, I'm playing Tamworth here. I know, he was really cocky with it, but he was a good cocky with it. He took the game as it should have been. I thought so. I thought that anyway. Him and so Bergwell as well. I had a telepathic sense before the goal, and I don't know what it is, but I just knew they would score an own goal. I knew that was what's going to happen. I knew that was going to be the way. I'm not just making this up. It's absolutely true. I did really, really think that. And of course, after that, then, the legs go and everything else. So that was my overall spin on things throughout. I think we learned a lot here with some of the players who, it's not going to be the same against Arsenal. It's going to be a totally different approach, totally different ground, totally different way of playing. We'll put our players out there. We won't be like putting this mishmash of a team together. I'm not making that as an excuse, by the way. There's no way we should have gone all that time 0-0. No way. And especially when it was so dangerous at the end when they almost scored. It was pretty hairy stuff actually towards the end there. But I thought it was nice of the players, and we felt the same as well. I didn't celebrate. None of the players did. I saw, when Johnson scored his goal and did his assist, you could tell he just stood there and just was like, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's what we should be doing. That's it. It's enough. Even though you didn't have a great game,
Yeah. G, sorry, I'm gonna have to let you go. Just mainly, I'm just gonna let you go mainly because there's such a delay between me and you. But thank you for calling in, mate, and I'll speak to you after the next game.
Thank you, Barnaby. Take care, mate. All the best. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Okay, that is showing technology from London to Brazil right there. So next up, I'm going to bring on Marcus, who is in the UK. Marcus, can you hear me? And how did you feel about that result?
The result, good. I think if you said before the match, 3-0. Thought, yeah, sounds about right. But I think it was the manner in which we put that performance to bed was really concerning. We started slow and languid, and I thought, first 15 minutes, just getting a feel for the pitch, feel for the players, but it never really got out of second gear throughout the game. And I think, you've got to earn the right to play football against Tamworth players who put a proper shift in. I think tonight, if the Tamworth players looked in the mirror and said, did I do as much as I could do today? They'd all go, yeah, I think I did. I'm not sure how many of the Tottenham players could say the same. Some of them just looked very uncomfortable to be in that type of environment. And I think right from the first kickoff, we never really got going. And it was only when the Tamworth players obviously started to tire and we brought on some of the high caliber players, shall we say, Son, Kulusevski, Solanke, that we sort of started to look comfortable. I think, Barnaby, the most disappointing thing is we've given ourselves another 30 minutes to play today. And we keep talking about Thursday, Sunday, a game every 3.6 days or whatever it is. Unnecessarily, we gave ourselves another half an hour to play. That's not good. I'll be very interested to see what Ange says after the game. What do you blame for that then? Do you blame complacency, or like you said, like just how kind of out of their comfort zone they were in that environment? Yes, possibly being out of the comfort zone. I don't expect many players in the team have played in that sort of environment. I think some of the earlier callers, it might have been John or both Johns, said they'd probably rather have a Watford or a Blackburn Rovers. You know what you're going to get. You look at the performance against Liverpool, top level elite team, fantastic. Today, four leagues down, looked really uncomfortable. I think it's mentality personally. I think if you had to say what is it, I think it's the mentality that was poor today.
So, Marcus, is there an argument to say then, with the FA Cup 5th round draw about to come in about an hour's time, that Tottenham should try and draw the hardest team possible at home?
I'd rather not have a harder team, but a higher caliber team. Mind you, we've done well in the Carabao Cup this season in terms
that's what I mean.
The type of teams we've knocked out. So yeah, I used to think Spurs previously, sort of flat track bullies. Record against the top 6 really poor. Actually, this season it's kind of inverse, shall we say?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd probably feel confident about taking anyone on. But yeah, a bit of a painful watch. Well done, Barnaby. You've had extra time to cover today, so I hope you're on time and a half or double time for that. I don't know how it works, but yeah, it's a difficult watch, and you have to give Tamworth credit. I think they should take all the plaudits for their endeavour and attitude today, and I think that was evident. But you might say the result's everything. We won 3-0. Kinski, another clean sheet. He looked comfortable with what he had to do.
Yeah.
I think
Really
he's a
good
good
player.
addition. So fair play for the scouting system that's identified him, because I hadn't heard of him. But yeah.
We're
So,
through. We're through, Marcus. That's all that matters.
We're through. I'm sure there'll be lots of 4s and 5s out of 5 when we do the Spurs in the media show when Chris does that. But I'll be interested to see what Ange's comments are, how pragmatic he is after the game. Thanks, Barnaby. Great show.
No, top man. Thanks for getting involved, mate. And I'll speak to you after another game. Cheers.
Yeah. Take care, everyone.
Okay, next up, we're going to Phil, who's also in the UK. Phil, I'm running out of time a little bit, I'm afraid, but
All right.
I'm loving your Millennium Falcon. But more importantly, yeah, how do you feel after the Tamworth 0 Spurs 3 game?
See, I think I ruined it yesterday because on Chris's show yesterday, I said, we'll win. And I was really confident. And I don't think
you were right.
Confident about Spurs. We won. But listen, there's 3 things to take away from that. I think we've all touched on it. Kingsley, another clean sheet. Good save at the end. I had to go into the kitchen and my kids were watching it. I just couldn't watch that last 6 minutes because I think we've all seen that story before, haven't we? Gray is going to be the linchpin of our midfield for the next however many years we can keep him. Because once we get some defenders back and he pushes up, he's a baller. And to be playing 18 on the left-hand side of defence, obviously Dorrington, Andrew doesn't fancy him. Dorrington's going to get a loan, I think he said the other day. And when Bergvall came on, his confidence has shot through. I think I was disappointed that we didn't start with a proper striker. I thought that was Lancashire. We played Lancashire in the Europa League and he did all right. He scored a goal. Werner, that just meant we were toothless in the first half. I think Tamworth, to their credit, again came out at us. As I say, I'm in York. York City Stadium is literally just over there from me, and all my mates who support them are like, Tamworth will give you a good game. They don't score a lot, but they don't concede much either. And yeah, I think we needed a centre forward. Porro had a nightmare of a game, but that moment of class for that free kick, everyone thought he was going to shoot. And that it's just those little moments that are the difference. And listen, that pitch was terrible. That is one of the worst 3G pitches I've ever seen. We played on the one at Marine when they redid it into 2021 against Spurs Legends for our Yorkshire Spurs team. And it's hard and it's never fun to play on. But that one, it looked like it belonged to a school. An underfunded school.
Yeah, it was.
But listen, next round.
I actually saw a sign. I saw a sign over the pitch just in the background that said basically 6-a-side played here every day. Like you can hire it. So clearly they have people playing it on it, like probably crossways.
On Chris's feed yesterday, there was a goal. My youngest was like, "Oh, look, you can play on there." And listen, that's how they make the money. And fair play to them. I think they came out and gave us a game. and I think it took us by surprise a little bit to begin with. But that last 6 minutes of injury time was not comfortable, and I was all set for deleting every social media account I have, because I wouldn't have been able to cope with the grief.
Phil, I've not got long left. I've talked to other people, but let's talk again after another game. Top man.
Cracking. Take care, mate. Bye.
Right. Okay, next up, another regular, Steve over in the Czech Republic. Steve, I haven't got long with anyone left, I'm afraid, but let me know, most importantly, your major takeaways from that Tottenham 3-0 victory at Tamworth.
Yeah, major takeaway was this. I thought Ange made a rod for his own back by making the selections that he did. I know there's one trainer's thought, and you've already mentioned that, let's put out our strongest team and put it to bed as early as possible. And I'm always for that, because we've a lot of experience with not only with Spurs but with other sides. But let's say with Tottenham in the past, we've tried it in different FA Cup games or the Carabao Cup in the years gone by, and eventually we had to bring on Harry Kane, we had to bring on Son to put these games to bed. And I texted a friend of mine. I said, "Oh, I've seen the lineup, so we're not going to score." And I said, Werner and Johnson will probably, miss reasonably good chances, which they did. I mean, it's no surprise. It's not like genial comment, but disappointed. I mean, hats off to Tamworth, to a man. They really played as well as they could. They played out their skins, gave everything. Fantastic from that point of view, but very disappointed that we had to use players that we really need to save their legs for the big North London derby on Wednesday night. So, and also the same as nearly everyone has said in the last few minutes there, heart in your mouth. They looked like they were gonna nick it, Tamworth, and that one again, like everyone else, my phone would have had to have been turned off for quite a long time.
Who can hold their heads up high though? Who impressed you today?
Obviously the keeper again didn't have a lot to do. What he did very, very well. I thought Bissouma had a good game generally. Tidying up. I'm talking about players who started the game for us.
Yeah, I thought Bissouma was as good as I've seen him for a long time, actually.
Yeah. That's about it, really. I mean, Porro was out of sorts. Maddison, I think he could have put one of those chances away that he had, and he didn't, and he sort of just tailed off. He was trying to get things going in the early stages. We all appreciate that it looked at a really horrendous pitch to play on. We take that on board. But disregarding that or taking that into account, we should have still sort of put it to bed early. We all know that. But disappointed.
All right, Steve, mate, thanks again for being part of the show. Let's speak after that North London derby. Enjoy the rest.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I want to be on the programme.
Man. All right.
I think we'll draw. I don't think we'll lose.
I hope you're right. Oh, I hope you win. Okay. See you later. Bye.
Maybe. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Okay, next up, going to Andrew, who's... where are you, Andrew? Where are you in the world?
Kingston, Jamaica.
In Jamaica, Andrew. Thank you for being patient. Tell me what you thought of that Spurs performance.
What I expected, actually. I didn't think that we would have set the place alight. I thought it was going to be difficult because I know what it's like playing as an underdog in a number of areas, and you get that. And the pitch was a real leveler. It brought us a peg or two down. It made a big difference, I thought. And then we have to also look at the fact that the players were coming off probably 2 months of playing every 3 days. Mm-hmm. They were going to be trying to protect themselves a bit, so they weren't going into tackles as robust as they probably could. But the Tamworth players were going into it, and I thought one or two of those tackles probably should have gotten a yellow card, would have settled the game down a little earlier. But it didn't. The referee didn't necessarily have a good game, but it wasn't a bad game either. I didn't see much of him, which is always a good thing because I spent years as a referee. So one of the things that they tell you is that if both teams complain about you, then you're probably a good enough. Or if nobody sees you, because people are there to watch the players, not you. And that was the most important thing I learned being a referee. They're here to watch the players. They're not here to watch you. So don't take over the game. Just allow it to flow.
And Andrew, what positives can we take from today, like in terms of player performances?
I thought, well, surprisingly, most people didn't mention him, but I thought Reguilon had a pretty good game, a decent game. For somebody who hasn't played for months and to get 20 minutes in his legs was really a good thing for him, I thought. Bissouma showing why we bought him in the first place, I thought today. He was commanding, and he showed the fact that he's captain of Mali, and that's part of what he did today. Jagusin, I thought really, you could see he was tired, and he was really giving his best. And so is basically the team to forget, he's just 22. So that kind of experience, standing him up here after playing all he has, because he haven't gotten a rest. Archie showed his character. 1 or 2 times you could see he was a little bit out of sorts. Again, that's come from fatigues. It affects the way you think and the decision that you make. And so defensively, I thought we played well despite all of that. Porro was the one who really showed a lot of that he needs a rest for me in how he played today. The midfield was almost non-existent except for Bissouma. Sarr was lost. Madas started pretty well the first 45 minutes, then he faded. After that, Moore, I didn't expect him to set the pace alight. It's his first game after a couple of months out, so you'd expect him to ease his way in. Not surprised he got hooked after 65 minutes and thereabout. Werner, I thought would have done a lot more. I'm not sure if he got service that would have made him run or get behind the defense of the team. Maybe the passing that didn't give him the chance to use his strength, which is his speed and stuff. I didn't expect him to score anything. Probably once I thought he probably should have. A little dink over the keeper, that one-on-one, I thought he probably would have tried that. But that comes from a lack of confidence, not being able to score on a regular basis, and that showed up. So and Johnson is I thought if he doesn't have a target, then Johnson doesn't put in the kind of crosses that he did. You notice when Solanke came on, his game changed, and he was a lot more positive in terms of getting behind the defense and putting crosses in. Because now he has a target, and I didn't think Warner gave him that much of a target for him to do. So it's sometimes I have to look at context and how it is that players do. But that's after Tamworth. They were well drilled in terms of how they played. And you could see that they knew the environment that they were in, and they utilized it to the best of their advantage. And it made a difference. I didn't think we would have scored after the first 30, 40 minutes, but I didn't think it would have taken us all of that time, 100 and plus minutes, to finally find the back of the net. But the good thing, we are through to the next round, so there's something that we got out of this game that's a real positive. We don't have to say, if honestly, like most of my previous persons have said, if we had lost this game, I would have had to just not answer my phone for a while. I couldn't take especially the Arsenal fans that I have.
Okay, Andrew, honestly, thanks so much for being part of the show, and I'll speak to you after a game in future. Top man.
Thank you very much for having me. Looking forward to another time.
Top man. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, and my final guest today, Wes the King. Thanks for being so patient, Wes. Let me know your thoughts after we won that game, just about 3-0.
Yeah, I have a lot of mine's gonna be pretty negative. I ain't gonna lie, because I understand we won. It's good we won. Yada yada yada. But a lot of people complain about the pitch. I don't really care. We're gonna play on whatever pitch. When we get to lower leagues like that, you're gonna play on plastic pitches or whatever. But at the end of the day, you're still playing the same games, same rules apply and all that. So I don't care about a pitch. So I don't understand why all the comments on, oh, the pitch is trash. The player. I don't care nothing about that. It's still the same way you play. That was ridiculous. I'm sorry. For us not to score at all within 110 minutes against a team like that is just disgraceful to me. I'm glad we won. We got through. That's great and all, but there's a lot of players that need to look themselves in the mirror. Madison started great, but it shuffled and faltered over the game. Johnson, man, and Werner, what horrible. I'm sorry. Werner is horrible. Johnson's not near as bad as Werner, but both of them can't really hold their head high on that. You saw after Johnson scored a goal, he was like, "Oh, he knew very well that he did not play good enough, and it looks very embarrassing." And even when Solanke kind of got that on goal to happen, he was like, "Man, there's no reason for him to even be out there. No reason. None of those players should have been subbed in at all." And I'm sure Ange did not plan. I'm sure he's upset with even putting them out there. I'm sure. He's not going to say it. He's going to keep it very mild tone and keep it pushing. But that at the end of the day, that was disgraceful performance. Those players need to look up, especially Werner. If Werner wants to continue his career, dude, you're gonna bro, it's about to be over with. You about to be playing, I don't know where, but you're not going to be playing any kind of top level side if you can't produce. And he looked out of depth. He looked at better. He looked at more comfortable when he got back on the wing. I think he is more a winger. He looked way more comfortable once he got on the wing. I would say that. I'll give him that. But wow, just in general though, that's ridiculous. But everybody else, we got tired legs. So Dragusin, he kind of, but he kept, he was. I don't think he's hurt. I think it was just because of the yellow card. I don't think he. Okay. I think Ange knew that he was probably going to get himself in trouble if he kept playing, so he just took him out. Which is fine. Spence looked uncomfortable playing center back though. But
you thought he looked uncomfortable? I thought he looked good.
Yeah, it just that the way he moved, where he's where he moves, and it's just a little bit natural how the flow of the play is. He looked a little bit weird the way he was, and but it worked out because of the competition. He was able to dribble out a couple times, and he did some good passes and stuff like that. I'm not saying he played bad, but it's just that that's not his position. We know that. He's really a back. He's a right back. He's used to be on the wings and stuff like that. If he played right wing and took Johnson, I think he would have had a little bit better play. But any day we got through. I understand everybody else has been pretty rational today. I get that. A lot of people probably used to this but there's no reason going against the 5th division side. We should people who got jobs in the morning. No, that's just unacceptable for me. So
Wes, let me try and end it with you with a positive. We've got Arsenal on Wednesday night. Can we do the classic Tottenham thing where we've nearly gone out of the FA Cup to a non-league side and then go and beat Arsenal at the Emirates?
Yeah, that's how Spurs go. We out here look like we're about to lose to some low side, and then when we go against a big team, we for some reason look right back to being one of the being a Premier League team. So I expect that to be a battle. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I'm hoping we can win. I always hope that Spurs can win at the end of the day, and hopefully we can pull one out. And just on to the next one. Luckily, we got through that. But Barnaby, good well that right there, was not good. Those first 90 minutes, man. I know. At the stream, man, you was looking like, what's going on?
Yeah, no, you're right, Wes. You're right. Listen, thanks so much for being part of the show, and let's speak again, hopefully after a win at the Emirates on Wednesday. Top man.
Yeah, let's go. Come you Spurs.
All right, guys, that has been the watch along. Please do tune in for the Arsenal watch along on Wednesday night as well. But that is by no means the end of the Tottenham Hotspur content today. Chris Cowlin is releasing videos all the time on his channel at the moment. Because he has been at the ground at the Lamb Ground in Tamworth. He is also then going to be back with the Spurs Chat podcast very, very soon on his channel. And on that tonight will be Harry Scarf, Brian Daigle, and Adrian Tisato. They will also have, during the Spurs Chat podcast, they will take in the FA Cup fourth round draw, which is happening at about 5 p.m. So make sure, if you're not already, make sure you are subscribed to Chris's YouTube channel. That is at Chris Cowlin. Also, I'm getting closer to 15,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, which you can see in the bottom left there. It's at Barnaby Slater _. I'm bringing you daily transfer videos every day this January, and always starting, of course, with my beloved Tottenham Hotspur. If you'd like to appear on a future episode of these watch-alongs on Chris's channel and talk to me after, give him an email at tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. That's tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. And finally, I'm sure you've heard me mention it before, but the Spurs Chat podcast is nominated at the Sports Podcast Awards 2025 in the category Best Team Podcast. Make sure you give them a vote. You can do that by going to the links in the description box below. It's been a difficult day today. Tottenham very nearly basically made themselves the laughing stock of all time and very nearly went out of the FA Cup to Tamworth. But despite getting lucky in the 6th minute of added time, we snuck our way through to extra time and then made our Premier League levels pay and ended up winning 3-0. So we roll on to the Emirates on Wednesday night. 2 wins in a row. Can we make it 3? Let's see what happens. Come on, you Spurs.